day, Mr. Schaefer. What do you give the man that has everything? Perhaps a vegan-friendly cake? Wait, is sugar okay? Anyone got a list? Now let's have some fun with Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour one of Jon and Jim. It is finally here for the first time since the 2024 NLDS. That infamous series in San Diego. The Padres and the Dodgers meet. We've got a good show, Jim. Fabian Ardaya covers the Dodgers for The Athletic, and he wrote an article earlier today with Dennis Lin. He'll join us at 2:30, and then, of course, our Padres insider, Kevin Acee, will swing by and join us at 5 p.m. Padres have gotten here well-positioned, coming off a road trip where they couldn't score, but it didn't matter, and they go 4-3. And now a Dodgers team dealing with pitching injuries. These teams have had near identical years. They're separated by one game in the middle of June. And now we may see them. Think about this, Jim. We may see Padres and Dodgers. This is still possible. We could see them 20 times between now and the end of October. We'll get 13 in the regular season. Could we upwards of 7 in the postseason? Potentially. Maybe, maybe not. But 13 of, I think, the final 98 in the regular season, up to 20 from here through October. Beginning tonight at Petco Park. It doesn't get a lot better than this.
That's a lot of games between these two. Potentially.
Even 13 is a lot from here on out.
Yeah, even 7 in the next 10 games is a lot. And that's what's going to happen here starting tonight down at Petco Park. It's finally here. I'm excited. I still wish that they played earlier in the season. And I do think a weekend series would hit different in San Diego, but still, it's Padres Dodgers. Place is going to be packed tonight. Tensions will be high. Everybody, behave out there at the ballpark, please. I don't want to see any, even though it's inevitable, stupid fights on TikTok or Twitter or whatever from fans. But these two teams, it's not like the Dodgers are having a historic season. They're not. They're neck and neck. They are neck and neck, and the Padres have a chance, if they take 2 or 3 here, to be tied with the Dodgers for first place, and then because of the head-to-head, they would be in first place in the division.
And I do think it's something, you talked about this a little bit last night on the wrap-up show. I agree. I think we're finally at the point in the season where you do have to look at how the two teams stack up. This is not a series to make amends for last October. You can't do that in one June series. But this is a series to prove that you're going to be in this for the long haul, hopefully in 2025. If you can take, but this is an LA team that comes in playing average baseball recently. 7-6 in their last 13 games. Pitching injuries everywhere. Tony Gonsolin, the last to be dealing with something. They've got so many pitchers on the IL. They've got TBAs listed in this 3-game series. This is just, to me, a series that says, hey, we're here to stay. We were good against you last year in the regular season. We're going to try to prove that we're going to be good against you again in 2025. You can't do anything right now to take away the disappointment of 2024. Dodgers ultimately win the World Series. You lose in ridiculous fashion with 24 consecutive scoreless innings. But I do think it's a series to say, hey, we belong. We can play in the same field as you. We're going to be in this thing for the long haul. Let's go prove it on field over the next couple of days with Nick Pivetta and Dylan Cease, and hopefully an offense that wakes up. I know it's going to be June gloom down at Petco tonight. I promise you that. But this offense has to wake up.
It's a battle between just like two different type of teams. One team, their offense, it's elite. The Dodgers offense is crazy. You're going to see their lineup tonight, and it's going to be just landmined everywhere.
Yep.
And you start with Otani, Betts, Freeman, Hernandez, Muncy, Smith. Like, they have one of the best lineups in baseball, maybe the best lineup in baseball. And then the Padres pitching staff, their bullpen's been fantastic of late, fantastic all year. And, Nick Pivetta, other than a couple starts, I feel like his start in San Francisco, his final line didn't really show how well he pitched in that game, because the bullpen did come in and they gave up, I think it was 3 earned runs that went on to Pivetta's, outing.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
But anyway, Padres pitching has been fantastic all year. Dodgers hitting has been fantastic all year. So, if it's a low scoring game tonight, I like the Padres' chances. But if the Dodgers go out there and say, you know what, we're going to put a 6 spot on the board, there might be a problem with the way this Padres offense has been playing right now.
Does any part of you today harken back to 2024 and the postseason and the bad blood and the Profar catch at the wall and the sinister sling, and Dave Roberts using that as motivation for his team. Is that now all over and done with because the Dodgers ended up getting the last laugh and winning the World Series? Like, is this the continuation of a soap opera between the Padres and Dodgers? A lot of the names and faces are the same. Some aren't, like Jerks and Profar. Or is this entirely new to you? New year, it starts over again here tonight.
No.
It's a little of both.
A little of both, but those things are still there.
Right. That's what I think.
They're not going anywhere. Like it's a lot of the same faces, a lot of the same big faces. Dave Roberts is still the manager of the Dodgers. Manny Machado is still the Padres' third baseman. That was one of the biggest storylines in that series last year.
Huge.
And they're both here for the long haul, right? Tatis, Merrill, Otani, Betts, Freeman, like most of the big names are still here. Yeah, Profar's not. He was a big part of the rivalry last year, but the big names are still here. The 24 straight scoreless innings to end the Padres season because of the Dodgers, it's still there. It's a talking point. I think we're gonna, once the game gets underway tonight, it's gonna bring back those feelings of what happened last postseason, and there's still nothing but hatred for the Dodgers. Like nothing's changed there. So yeah, I think that it's just a continuation. Obviously the stakes aren't as even close to as high
not yet
as they were, last October, but still those feelings that you have, if you're a Padres fan towards the Dodgers and how much you hate them, those aren't going anywhere.
The twist of the knife for me remains what the Dodgers said after the series and even in the offseason, like Mookie Betts and Fabian Ardaya wrote this today in The Athletic. Mookie Betts in November described the 2024 Padres as, quote unquote, way more talented than we were. They were the best team in baseball. That was Mookie Betts in November of 2024. He's not the only Dodger to go down that path of messaging at the end of 2024. Remember, it was the Padres that won the regular season series against the Dodgers. It was the Padres that led that series 2-1 before Dylan Cease went out there on short rest at Petco Park in Game 4 and pitched so poorly. And you're right, the next time the Padres score will be the first time in however many innings, but add 24 to it. If they score in the first, it's a 24-inning scoreless streak snap. But if it takes more time than that, that's going to be part of the story as well. And it's an offense, as you bring it back to 2025, that if they didn't have Manny Machado, would be coming off like a 1-6 road trip or worse.
Right.
Because Manny Machado has just truly carried this team. He's had such impactful moments recently, including yesterday, the only run on a solo home run in Milwaukee. They have to awaken, to your point, an elite offense in Los Angeles. You're not going to win every game 2-1 over the next 3 nights. You're going to have to score more than they've been scoring here recently. And that hopefully begins tonight against us in May.
For Manny Machado, as you mentioned, 7 home runs, 13 RBIs since I tweeted out on
amazing
May 23rd. Manny is going through it right now. Yikes.
16 games.
16 games since then. They are 10-6 in those games. Manny Machado has 5 home runs in the 7th inning or later in the last 16 games.
Wow.
7 total. He's now at 10 home runs this year. His OPS is right around 900.
Amazing.
It's like clockwork with him. Now, I know people, I'm looking at these tweets too. Some people are like, shut up. Stop tweeting, consistent misses. You're an idiot. Update. Yeah, dude, you're stupid.
The point was to get him going.
Well, the point was he was in a pretty big slump when that tweet went out.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go back and look at it because I'm pretty sure that it was either 0 for like 19 or a 1 for 20 leading up to that tweet.
What was the day of the tweet?
May 23rd.
So he was 0 for 2 for 4, 0 for 5 into that game. So he was, let's see, I'm just looking, 8, 11, 15, 2 for 9. No, 2 for 24 heading into that game.
2 for 24 heading into that
24.
game. And ever since that moment, 2 for 24, I think 2 at bats later or 1 at bat later, he hit that home run late in the game against the Braves.
Yep.
And he has been just on a hot streak since. So
The Manny goes, team goes.
Manny goes, team
out.
goes. Now, there was a game this road trip where he was fantastic and they lost.
Well, it's not going to be with 100% certainty.
No, but it's as close as it gets with one player.
It's amazing. You're spot on. I hope it continues, because if it does, the Padres are good. There's no world where Machado hits 315 with 34 home runs and they're not good. It's not happening. If he hits 315 with his 895 OPS and 34 home runs, as most as a Padre, team's winning more than 93 games probably. And last year was amazing with 93.
Now, Manny's had big numbers and the Padres have had bad seasons, but they weren't as good as his career averages. I know in 2021, I think he might have had 100 RBIs and I think he had 30 home runs, but I think his OPS was in the 700s, if I'm not mistaken.
It wasn't his fault they were pitching whoever they were pitching.
That is also true, but look at his numbers that year compared to like 2022. While his home runs and RBIs might have been down, his average, his slugging percentage, his OPS, all up across the board.
Yeah, you're right. He had a really good 2021, 836 OPS. It wasn't as good as 2020, the short year. It wasn't as good as 2022, the 900 OPS in 2022. And again, the truth is a position player can only do so much. The fact that there is a direct correlation with Machado to winning is impressive, considering he doesn't pitch.
I know.
So that is amazing. And in 2021, who are they throwing in the second half of the year?
Jake Arrieta.
And just Vince Velasquez.
Yeah. Oh,
so, gosh. I mean, they were on fumes.
Yeah.
They're pitching.
Snell got hurt. I think Darvish got hurt. The only player that was out there that they traded for that was still pitching was, I think, Joe.
What's interesting is this pitching staff is without Joe and Darvish and King. And we just saw a series in Milwaukee where they didn't pitch Pivetta Cease just because of the turn of the rotation.
And the three guys that pitched on paper, you're like, huh? And Vasquez, Kolick, and Berge.
And they couldn't have been better.
They were fantastic.
Milwaukee had one extra base hit in the entire series. One, the walk-off home run.
In
a 3-game series at home.
It could have swept. It was just, they could not have pitched better. But the thing is, it's like they are walking this tightrope every single night because their offense has been so inept, other than Manny Machado. And I'll throw in Gavin Sheets as well. Everybody else in that lineup, it's literally hit or miss. And most of the time it's been miss.
To the point where they finally sat Tatis. I mean, he didn't play Saturday.
Yeah.
Didn't pinch hit him. He returned Sunday. He goes 0 for again. Fernando Tatis Jr. against the Dodgers has hit 19 home runs in 61 career games.
Well, if we had a discussion on the wrap-up show about Tatis on Friday night.
Oh, tonight's tonight, right?
And if that didn't work, plus facing the Dodgers, plus having a full off day, I might have to tweet, John.
So wait, okay, what are the conditions tonight? I say this: if he has one or fewer hits and reaches base safely one or fewer times, so he can't go 1 for 2 with 2 walks. That's too good. If he has one or fewer hits and they aren't extra base hits, is that worthy of a tweet? If he goes 1 for 5 with a single in a 4-2 loss, will you tweet?
I'll up one there. I'll up you there.
Okay.
If he goes 0 for his first 2 tonight.
0 for his first 2 tonight, you tweet.
And the at-bats don't look good, then it's time for a little bit of scorched earth on Fernando Tatis on social media.
And this is for the betterment of Tatis. This is for Tatis.
And this is not just for a bit. Like what will be said will be 100% true, because this guy, I looked at his numbers once again last night. The beginning of May, he has been awful. Awful. He has 1 RBI in his last 15 games. All right. It's not good enough, not even close to good enough. And historically against the Dodgers, he's incredible. He always does well against the Dodgers historically in his career. When he sees Dodger blue, he turns into MVP. So if he can't get going this series and in the next 7 games, the next 10 games, 7 of them will be against the Dodgers, a team that he's historically good against. If he can't get going now, then something's really, really wrong.
3 letters, DFA. We're kidding.
No.
All right. So it's not just the Padres offense that's kind of going through it. Also the Dodgers pitching staff. We have the latest there with LA. Plus Fabian Ardaya. He covers the Dodgers for The Athletic. Will join us at 2:30. Of course, our Padres insiders on the show today as well. Kevin Acey will get us ready. Coming up at 5 p.m., a ton to get into. Padres and Dodgers round one of at least 13 this year. Coming up tonight at Petco Park. This is Jon and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Fabian Ardaya coming up at 2:30, covers the Dodgers for The Athletic. By the way, the iHeartRadio Music Festival, it's back. You can win your way in before you can buy tickets. Live performances by Ed Sheeran, John Fogerty, Mariah Carey, and more. September 19th and 20th, T-Mobile in Vegas, 2 nights, 1 stage. Listen to win tickets before you can buy them. 9 a.m., 1 p.m., 5 p.m., including airfare and hotel in Vegas, plus $1,000. And our exclusive Capital One cardholder presale starts Wednesday at 10 a.m. The Dodgers. Did you see these quotes from Dave Roberts on Sunday to the Orange County Register?
What did they say?
Outside of it being a division opponent and us trying to find a way to win a game, it really doesn't have any extra impact. I think right now we're not playing our best baseball, but I think that environment is going to bring out the best in us. It's a fun place to play a ball game, but as far as the stakes are right now, I don't think it has a whole lot. Which again, I downplayed the stakes, or I don't want to pretend like if you win tonight, everything's fine.
No,
and it makes up for what happened in 2024. The stakes, of course, are not the same as the postseason last year. It's still of importance because these teams are good, both expect to be in the playoffs, and they're both near each other in the NL West.
Because taking a step back, say worst case scenario happens, they get swept by the Dodgers here. Their season's not over.
No, it's not over. Of course not.
Like far from it. Now, if this was the final series of the year and the Padres and Dodgers were separated by a game, then yeah, that would suck because you lost out on the division.
Mm-hmm.
But in June, early June, where you face the Dodgers 7 times the next 10 games, if you do not play well against the Dodgers, it is not the end of the world. It will suck, and we will talk about it, and I will be pissed, and I know you will be pissed, and Padres fans will be pissed, but it won't be the end of the world. I'm trying to get that out now, just in case. Like, no, I'm just getting that out now because I know in the moment we're going to feel a lot different. Me especially. I will feel a lot different if tonight they lose 9-1 and Nick Pivetta doesn't look good. And then tomorrow, Dylan Cease goes out there and throws up another bad outing and they lose again. Dodgers. Yeah, against the Dodgers. Then I will be upset. But then I'll have to maybe have this played back for me, like the pre-Dodger series, Jim, saying to all of you out there listening on your radios, iHeartRadio app, or watching us on YouTube, it's not the end of the world. Now, that's not the mentality I want to have going into this series, like saying like, it's okay if you lose.
No, you almost sound a little bit more like me, but you're trying to, it's true. Over 162, you need to be able to kind of have perspective. And you got to take a step back sometimes. Like,
it's kind of hard.
But like, let's think about this for a second. If they win 2 of 3 and are tied for first place in the division, that's a positive step, obviously.
Right. And we're planning the World Series parade.
And if they lose 2 out of 3, the difference there is 1 game.
And we're selling the team.
Exactly. So that's probably too much of a reaction for June. Now, I'll be the one to say, to be fair, what happens this week? I mean, the Dodger pitching injuries, the Dodgers. Tony Gonsolin just went on the IL. Shohei Otani hasn't pitched all year, obviously. Tyler Glasnow, Blake Snell, Roki Sasaki. Yeah, Roki Sasaki on the IL. They're young pitchers. Sheehan, Ryan River, Kyle Hurt, Gavin Stone. I'm looking at the list here on the IL. They've placed 20 players on the IL this year.
And 19 of them are pitchers.
Right. And it's honestly a huge number.
Right.
They've placed 20 on the IL. So this isn't their finished roster either. And it's not the Padres, by the way. I'm not saying this is who the Padres are. They don't have Darvish, and they don't have King, and they don't have Musgrove, and they won't for the year. But I'm just saying that, again, both teams aren't at their peak performance, arguably, right here in June. Both teams will look different as the season prolongs. They both have a deadline to improve themselves in the next 5, 6, 7 weeks. So we'll overreact. We will overreact, but this isn't the high stakes series that we last saw these two teams play, obviously in October of 2024.
Yeah, while we will overreact, we know that the Padres themselves, those players and coaches, and especially Mike Shildt, there will be no overreaction either way.
Right.
To, sweeping the Dodgers or getting swept by the Dodgers. But I think it would just be nice to see, more than anything, this offense and certain guys in the lineup start producing, because that's, to me, more concerning right now than a 3-game series against the Dodgers is Fernando Tatis, Luis Arraez, Jackson Merrill, Xander Bogaerts. All 4 of those dudes are struggling in their own ways, some more than others. And those guys getting going is just so important to this team. Like, I don't want to play this game, but I'll do it. Say you lose 2 or 3 to the Dodgers, but those 4 guys I mentioned all have really good series. Now, how they would lose 2 or 3 to the Dodgers?
I was about to say that to you.
How would they lose 2 or 3 to the Dodgers and all 4 of those guys have good series? I don't know how that would happen. That means the pitching staff would just have to implode in on itself after being really good the last couple of weeks here. But It's like lose a battle, win a war. Tatis goes off this series and has like 3 home runs and hits like 500 in the series. Yeah, you lose 2 or 3, but this got Tatis going for the remainder of the month, and kind of ride the ship here with Tatis' struggles.
I'll probably take it. Well, here's the crazy thing. Okay, 3-9-8 games, you lose 2 of them. Hear me out. Hypothetically, 3-9-8 games, you lose 2.
Those games would be fun. Actually, not really, but they'd be a lot of craziness.
3-2-0 games, you win 2 of them.
I think you take the wins.
You have to take the wins.
100% take the wins. Actually, not. I think
no, but
100%.
I will say in the long term, in the long run, getting Tatis going, getting Merrill going, could be worth more than 1 win here. Could,
but you never not want to take a win.
You want to bank the win,
especially over the Dodgers.
Can they just win?
It's a no-brainer.
Can they just win 2 out of 3-9-8?
Even if they win all 3 games here, 1-0, you take it. Offense still would be a problem, but your pitching with them would be incredible this series.
But I would say, is that sustainable? Which I've been saying for weeks on end.
Well, we know that it's not going to be, and we know that AJ Preller is going to make moves, and we know that he's going to find a left fielder, and we know he's going to look for more pitching. But the thing is, can they sustain this up until those points? I think they can.
All right, Fabian Ardaya covers the Dodgers for The Athletic. He wrote something today in The Athletic about this series with Dennis Lin. He'll join us on the other side. Kevin AC will join us at 5 p.m. We're getting you ready for the first of 3 between the Padres and the Dodgers. Stay with us. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update is brought to you by Paint Care. Finally, Padres and Dodgers start a 3-game series tonight at Petco Park. 6:40 first pitch. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres against Dustin May for the Dodgers. And the NBA Finals are all tied up at a game apiece as the Thunder blew out the Pacers last night in Game 2. Game 3 is in Indy on Wednesday night. They know that leftover paint in your garage is clutter. Make room for your collections of trading cards, John, and comics. Take the leftover paint to a Paint Care drop-off site. Make more room in your garage and help the planet. Learn more at paintcare.com.
All right, Padres, Dodgers, round 1 tonight, Petco Park, 6:40 first pitch. Great to catch up with Fabian Ardaya. He covers the Dodgers for The Athletic. And finally, for the first time since October of 2024, these two teams on the field once again here in 2025. Fabian, we appreciate you taking time for us in San Diego. I've seen what you've been writing here, like today with Dennis. I've looked at what you've been writing about on social as well. How would you say the Dodgers have overcome the pitching injuries they've dealt with? Again, they're not on some historic pace, but they're still a game up in the division. They're still pacing for maybe 95 to 100 wins. How have they managed to do it? And I guess the answer probably is their historic offense, right?
Yeah, I think it's really the lineup at this point that's sort of keeping them afloat. And yeah, like they've kind of survived it. I mean, it's because they have that kind of offensive firepower, but obviously, like this is not pitching staff, including the bullpen, that I think anyone kind of anticipated going into the season. You knew there'd be some injury stuff, just considering some of the history of some of the guys involved. But to have this large of an injured list for the second year in a row, really, it's been a tough spot for the Dodgers to be in.
Yeah, back to your point about this is not where they expect it to be. What's the fan base in LA, their feelings on, the season so far? Because with the highest payroll in all of baseball and one of the highest payrolls you've ever seen in the sport and all the moves they made this offseason, I think the expectation going in probably was better than this, right?
Yeah, and I think there's also like a recognition of how good the division is. Mm-hmm. I used to had a little bit of that last year, obviously, with the Padres. We saw how competitive that series was, but the Giants are in the mix now. The Diamondbacks were expected to be in the mix. We'll see how much their own pitching injuries kind of sink them. But like, this is a competitive division, and it's a competitive National League. I think it's pretty clear far and away the National League is superior to the American League right now, and that's going to create a tougher hurdle for the Dodgers. Obviously, they're in a spot where all their top arms that they're kind of hoping are available for October are still technically in play for October. And as long as you have that, the Dodgers probably can hang their hat on that. But I'm sure they wanted this to not be as sweaty in early June as things already are. But that's kind of a byproduct just of how the Dodgers have played, but also how well the Padres and Giants have played so far this year.
Fabian Ardaya with us right now. Jon Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Padres Dodgers coming up at 6:40 from Petco. What kind of timeline is there for Otani to return to the pitcher's mound?
Yeah, he's not going to be back before the All-Star break. I think that's very intentional, very deliberate, on purpose, like how the Dodgers kind of wanted to do this, because there's a lot of sort of risk that comes with bringing him back on the mound, including if something bad happens, then all of a sudden you're taking away his bat, and he's been cleared away just as good as he was last year during his MVP season. So they're kind of taking their time with it. You're seeing stuff even with this week where he was sort of scheduled to face hitters. Initially this weekend in St. Louis, he got pushed. They got pushed again yesterday to Tuesday because of different factors, whether it be the weather or he gets hit by a pitch. All this sort of stuff that you don't really have to normally worry about with a rehabbing pitcher, you have to worry about with Otani. So they're going to take their time there. I don't see him starting any game before the All-Star break, and we'll see whether it's August or wherever, just to give him maybe a roadmap of 8 to 10 starts to sort of figure out where he's at after a second surgery. But also, you don't want to risk having a setback or anything like that sort of impacts him offensively.
What did you make of last offseason after the Dodgers won the World Series, how complimentary they were of the Padres and at every turn and any opportunity that Dodger players had to say how great the Padres were last year? What did you make of that and how they reacted and kept on saying like the Padres were the best team we faced all postseason? What did you make of that whole thing?
I think they were telling the truth, honestly. Like, you saw, as we could tell by the NLCS, honestly, like just the Mets obviously had a great story last year. A good team, obviously, and they've run back with a pretty good team. But you could just see a difference in like the level of play between those two teams, and also especially with the Yankees series, where the Padres were built to push the Dodgers in every way imaginable. They had the lights out bullpen, they had the starting pitching, they had the stars in the lineup, and familiarity where there isn't a fear of the Dodgers when it comes to the Padres playing. I think that's pretty clear. I think it's been clear for a few years now. Like there isn't a fear there, and you sort of saw how that series played out, and you saw. After that series, people with the Dodgers were sort of saying, wow, like we got through that. If we can get through that, we can go all the way. And you heard that after they won the World Series, they're like, oh, I still can't believe we beat the Padres. And like that I think is a testament to how good that Padres team was, and sort of also the position that the Dodgers were going into Game 4 last year. Like they were dead in the water going into that game, and that's a huge sliding door those moments for both franchises, I think, if that game goes a little bit differently.
That is really well said. Fabian Ardaya with us right now, covers the Dodgers for The Athletic. Of course, the Padres turned to Dylan Cease on short rest. They didn't go bullpen day. Joe Musgrove was out based on that Atlanta series, and the Padres didn't score for the last 24 innings of the series. How do you see it as you start a new season in terms of a season series? Like, does some of this storyline continue for you where it left off in 2024? Some of the bad blood, what Dave Roberts had to say about Manny Machado, that back and forth, the situation that played out with Jurickson Profar throughout the course of the year. I know he's no longer here. Like, is this a completely blank slate, or does the story continue from a year ago?
I think it's inevitable because it's not just last year's story. I think it's been 5 years now where, I mean, they've played the playoffs 3 times in the last 5 years, and it's been pretty competitive just about every single time. There's going to be a history there. Also, just because you're baking in, like, this is a division race. Like, these games really matter. And you're looking at a Dodgers team that has barely played teams in the division this year. It's been really weird with balanced schedule. They've had 3 against the Rockies. I think it was 4 against Arizona, and that's about it. So, yeah, they're going to feel a huge stretch here, especially against the Padres, where they play each other 7 times in the next couple of weeks. There's going to be a lot of big, important battles that are going to sort of dictate what the second half looks like for each team. I think both teams can sort of feel like they're definitely firmly in the postseason mix, but we saw last year how much home field advantage, winning the division, getting to avoid the wild card series can sort of have for guys like that.
We know him well here in San Diego, Tanner Scott. He's now with the Dodgers, but he's struggled with the Dodgers this year. What is attributed to his struggles this year so far in LA?
Yeah, I think it's hard, like kind of counterintuitive. Like he's throwing too many strikes, it seems like. He has been too much in the zone with his stuff, and it's getting hit. And as opposed to like maybe being like sort of the guy he was with the Padres, where he was kind of living on the edges of the zone with elite stuff, guys with swing and miss. The stuff is still really strong. Yeah, maybe it's a slight takedown from where it was last October, just naturally because it was October. But he is missing over the middle of the plate. He's not really putting guys away. It's a lot of 2-strike counts where he can't quite put guys away. And you've seen a little bit of the last couple outings where he started to figure it out a little bit more. They made a tweak with his delivery. He was kind of flying open a little bit. It's hard for him to command the baseball where he wanted to. He was throwing strikes, but not the types of strikes that he wanted. And yeah, it's a position where I don't think that if the Dodgers weren't in the position that they were in, where like pretty much the entire bullpen was on the injured list, and they were really relying on Tanner Scott to close out every tight game they had, if they were in this different situation, they probably wouldn't be as magnified as they are right now. But now I think we're in a position where he's looked better the last couple. Michael Kopech and Kirby Yates are back, and I think the Dodgers probably feel overall a lot better about their bullpen now than they did even a week ago.
Fabian, tell me if this is kind of off base or not, or crazy, but is Shohei Otani having a better offensive season than he did a year ago?
He's off to a better start than he was last year. I think you can say that for sure, because especially on the power front, I mean, he is off to the best power start of his entire career. And you're just seeing, like, this is a guy who obviously won multiple MVPs in an Angels uniform, and what he did was spectacular. But as someone who saw him in 21 with the Angels, to seeing him last year and the evolution he had over the course of the year, he just is such a dialed-in hitter at this point where he will have stretches where he's prone to chase or whatever, but usually if you throw a pitch in his zone, he will destroy it, and he is not going to be someone that you can get to chase quite as much as in the past. And he's probably as dangerous of a hitter as he's ever been at this stage of his career, because you just kind of know that anything that you throw that's close to his zone is going to get out of the ballpark or be hit really hard somewhere. Obviously, we saw last year how much his legs kind of enhanced his offensive profile. You saw that over the start of the season. He's run a little bit less as his pitching development has kind of progressed, but it's still something that's part of his game that you have to keep in mind.
So we're in San Diego. Not a lot of Dodger fans listen to San Diego radio, or maybe they do. I don't know. But I couldn't help but notice on your X profile that you're in San Diego, and I think that's the visiting dugout with an SD behind you. Do Dodger fans ever give you slack or flack for having your profile picture be in San Diego?
They do not. I do love being in San Diego. It's a great ballpark and a nice visiting dugout, and yeah, I like Petco Park, but no, I haven't heard anything yet. So
well, we do appreciate that picture. Yeah, we appreciate that picture, and it's a good picture, by the way. So it's glad that it's your profile picture.
Are you? And by the way, Fabian, are you celebrating your birthday today? Huh? Did we lose him?
He hung up.
No, I'm here.
Oh,
yeah, I celebrate my birthday today. Yeah,
it is your okay. Oh. Yeah, we saw it on social media. So, well, happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Enjoy it in San Diego.
Thank you.
Hopefully, it's a great 3-game series here between the Padres and the Dodgers, and we appreciate you taking time for us.
Of course, anytime, guys.
All right, great stuff. Fabian Ardaya again covers the Dodgers for The Athletic. We're going to react to that on the other side. A lot to get into. Plus, we've got a giveaway for you today. We'll tell you about on the other side as well. And Kevin Acey, of course, our Padres insider, will join us coming up at 5 p.m. Padres Dodgers game 1 of 3 from Petco Park at 6:40. We've got you covered until 6 p.m. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Kevin AC will join us at 5 p.m. We have tickets to give away. We have a 4-pack of tickets to see Dierks Bentley, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater in 10 days, June 19th. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. We'll give those away in the 4 o'clock hour. Also, make sure to download the all-new iHeartRadio app. When you do it, put Jon Jim and San Diego Sports 760 in your presets. You can listen to the show live. Weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. You can listen back if you put Jon Jim in your presets to any hour or interview. So we just had Fabian Ardaya on the show talking about the state of the Dodgers.
Which is not everything's perfect for them right now in their eyes.
Don't they they remind me of being like opposites. Padres pitching's been good. It's been the reason why they're in the position that they're in. They've really labored offensively. They've been carried by 1 or 2 players by and large this year, where the Dodgers pitching has been injured. You look at some of the scores of their games. They've had to slug their way to some wins. They've got this elite offense. It's like you got a Padres pitching staff that's carried the way. You've got a Dodgers lineup that is carried the way, and they both are near identical in terms of overall record at this point.
I did say early before, not early in the season, but earlier, I think either last month or when Michael King was healthy, I said, I bet you right now that the Dodgers would absolutely love to trade their pitching for the Padres pitching. Now, I don't know if I could say that now, just because their starters are, Berger and Vasquez and Kullock, they've done a fantastic job, but Cease has been really bad this year. Pavetta's been really good. I don't think his numbers show like how good he's been, but at the same time, you're right. The pitching for the Padres is really good. The Dodgers offense is really good, and we'll see tonight and this series in the next 7 out of the next 10 games, just how well the Padres pitching is, because they're going up against an elite offense.
The Padres are going to be ready for this.
Of course.
I assume the Dodgers are as well. I feel like they probably get the best out of each other is the way that I kind of look at this. I really hope this is what Fernando Tatis Jr. needs. We touched on this briefly earlier. He's hit 19 career home runs against the Dodgers. They have a plaque at Dodger Stadium for him for that 1 home run he hit.
I know.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
But 19 home runs in 61 games, you do the math on that. It's like a 45 to 50 home run season if you played 162 games against the Dodgers. But this has not been the player we saw even a month ago, Jim. To think that he would have such a polar opposite season, a month of MVP-like play, of course, that doesn't make a season, and then a month of replacement level play, that also doesn't make a season. This has to be the night. I know we joked about it earlier. If it's not tonight, then you'll tweet about it, or even 2 at-bats in, you're going to tweet about it. It feels like it's got to come. I need to see it. For me to be confident in Fernando Tatis Jr., I feel like I have to see it this series, or the questions are going to continue to pop up as to why is Fernando Tatis Jr. struggling in such a massive way right now for weeks on end.
It's a multitude.
Love that.
It's multitude. It's multiple things.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be. How could it just be he's just slumping? Like, I don't buy it. I don't buy that he's just mechanically off. I think it's multiple things that are happening.
Do you think he's
multitude?
Thank you, Brian. Do you think he's hurt? Since the day he was hit by Mitch Keller in Pittsburgh, that's the day that coincides with his slump.
I don't want to say yes, because if he is hurt and they just haven't been telling us, then that's a bad look. And I don't want to go through that again, where it's like
he's got a fractured arm.
All of a sudden, in 2 weeks, are like he can't deal with it anymore. He's had a fracture in his wrist or wherever. I don't know. Like that'd be ridiculous. So no, I think he's healthy. He's out there every day.
Yep.
I just think that it's mental. I think it's mechanical. I think it's just his attitude, like all of that, scrunched into one. And that's the reason why he's slumping right now. It's not like, the pitchers are pitching him different, or he's just swinging at bad pitches. He's mechanically off. 1 minute, he has a high leg kick. The other minute, he has a toe tap. He's grounding. His ground ball rate is like Eric
really
Hosmer level right now. He's not driving the ball. I think I think I have to look back, but I think he's had like 1 extra base hit in his last 10 games.
That makes sense because you mentioned the RBIs. I mean, he's only had what? 1 RBI in his last 15 or 16 games?
Yeah.
So that speaks to that.
So he's got to pick it up. And if the Dodgers can't do it, and then after having an off day and hopefully resetting a little bit, like I don't know when we're going to see Tatis get back into the form here.
Yeah, I mean, he's hitting 259 for the season now. His OPS has dropped under 800. And to Jim's point here on what he has done recently, he has had 1 RBI since May 18th, 2 RBI since May 13th. I'm looking at his extra base hits, and he's had 1 in his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1 extra base hit in his last 12 games. Fernando Tatis Jr. That's unbelievable. Like, truly, I can't believe that.
I know. It's just, you just are continuing to scratch your head watching this guy just not perform.
That stat might not be right.
For this long of a period.
It might not be right. He might have 2. But whatever. He hasn't had a lot.
The point still remains.
Yeah.
He's not hitting for power. He's not driving in runs. Now it's a little difficult when you're the leadoff guy. Like if you're leading off an entire season, you don't see many leadoff hitters unless it's like, you know, Judge or Otani have 100 and something RBIs. But still, he's not doing any of that. He's not driving in runs. He's not hitting home runs. He's not hitting for power. He's not getting on base. He's not hitting for like he's doing nothing right now. And that's got to change.
Even Otani, to your point, with the crazy home run total, has 39 RBIs. He has 23 home runs, 39
That's
RBIs.
a
So you're not
crazy ratio.
You're not going to ask the player leading off, to your point, to have 130 runs driven in. Yeah. It would be nice for a player like Fernando Tatis Jr., though, to drive in 90-plus runs, which is what Shohei Otani, of course, is being asked to do as well. So hopefully it's this week. And it's not just Tatis, by the way. He's the most visible, high-profile player. If it was Manny, we'd be saying Manny. You know, Arise hasn't been the same hitter as he was a year ago. Jackson Merrill has not been the same hitter that he was even to start the year, and certainly a year ago. Yep. The bottom of this lineup we've talked about ad nauseum.
We haven't mentioned Xander Bogaerts because we feel like he's such a lost cause right now.
Exactly. He's a lost cause right now, and they're winning. It would be such a bigger talking point if they were 6-10 in their last 16 games, not 10-6, but they're winning. So they're finding ways to win even with this, I mean, very mid offense. That's putting it probably too nicely.
They're literally winning with their pitching and Manny Machado.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly how they've won.
That's how they're winning games right now.
Yep.
So Marty just tweeted out.
Okay.
Speaking of ratios, tell me how awful this sounds. You've been in the clubhouse before, right?
Yeah, of course.
I've been in the clubhouse before multiple times. You've been in the dugout. We've been at scrums. We've done it all, right? She just tweeted out about a 40-1 media member to Padres player ratio in the clubhouse right now.
You want to know what they're asking?
About last year.
That's exactly right.
But I guarantee you, of the 40, media members to 1 Padre player ratio in the clubhouse, 37 of them, this is like their first time this year.
Yeah, because they're probably here for basically either the national story of what Padres Dodgers means, or from the LA dynamic of the Dodgers are at Petco Park for the first time since Game 4 of the NLDS.
It always bugged me when I would cover
they just kind of show up for one series.
Yeah, when I was there on a regular basis and not having this radio show is the games like against the Rockies.
No one's there.
Were awesome because nobody's there. And then the games versus the Dodgers, you're just like, oh, like for the fans, it's awesome, right? But for the Kevin Acey's, Marty's, Dennis Lynn, AJ Cassville, Annie's of the world, those people I just named have to deal with the 40 other people that are never there.
Do you think there's a mental hurdle at all for the Padres heading into the series, knowing that what they're being asked about is how they disappointed/failed in 2024? You couldn't get over the hump a year ago.
I think that plays no factor in these guys' mind.
I think it might fuel them a little bit, truthfully.
I just don't think that they're going into this game being like, we need to avenge what happened last postseason. We need to score runs.
Yeah, unfortunately, they can't.
Yeah,
they can sweep the series. They're not avenging last postseason.
Yeah.
All right, much more on the Padres and Dodgers coming up on the other side. Plus, we've got that giveaway for you, a 4-pack of tickets to see Dirk Bentley. Plus, we finally have real Pac-12 conference news to share with our listeners, and we will do that on the other side. Kevin Acey will join us at 5 p.m. We've got you covered for Padres and Dodgers Game 1 coming up at 6:40. Hour 2 of Jon and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app is next.
All right, this update's brought to you by Paint Care. Padres Dodgers 6:40 first pitch tonight at Petco Park. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres against Dustin May for the Dodgers. Game 2 of the NBA Finals last night went to the Thunder as they blew out the Pacers. Game 3 is on Wednesday night with that series tied up at 1 game apiece. They know that leftover paint in your garage is clutter. Make room for your collections of trading cards and comics. Take the leftover paint to a Paint Care drop-off site. Make more room in your garage and help the planet. Learn more at paintcare.com.org.
It's us versus them at Petco starting tonight. And we'll give you a full look ahead with everything you need. Plus, the Padres decided to give John a present.
High drive, deep left field for Manny Machado. It's back. It is gone. Manny Machado.
Happy birthday, Mr. Schaefer. What do you give the man that has everything? Perhaps a vegan-friendly cake. Wait, is sugar okay? Anyone got a list? Now let's have some fun with Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 2, Jon and Jim getting you ready for Padres and Dodgers coming up tonight at 6:40. Our phone lines are open, by the way, if you want to weigh in on this series, 877-767-4760. You can always text us as well, 70470. Start your message with the word team. On your way down, make sure to tune in. Kevin Acey will join us at 5 p.m. If you missed our conversation with Fabian Ardaya, we'll share that back with you coming up in the 4 o'clock hour as well. Before we get back to the Padres, if I could mention some breaking Pac-12 related news for the first time in months, truly.
Oh, go for it.
So Ross Dellinger does a really good job covering college athletics. He's been all over the media rights and the expansion piece with the Pac-12. He wrote within the last 30 minutes, all 8 members of the new Pac-12 have signed their grant of rights and membership agreements. A conference spokesperson tells Yahoo Sports, it's a signal that the league is finalizing a new media rights deal that is expected in the coming days. He then went on to say this. The media deal is expected to feature as many as 4 different partners. The package paves the way for the league to formally offer invitations to expansion targets. Doesn't say target, but targets. The conference needs 1 full-time football playing member to reach FBS minimum to become an official conference. They need 1 more school that plays football. So do you have any reaction to this? I think it was just a formality, right? They'd get a TV deal. They would expand, get that 8th football playing member. We've been talking about this since last September when we saw it was Ross Dellinger that had the tweet that the 4 schools were leaving the Mountain West for the Pac-12, including San Diego State. This sounds encouraging for the Pac-12. We might have a media deal and expansion coming in the next few days.
Are you going to be able to sleep?
No, maybe. Potentially. I'll be doing a lot of reading on this over the next 24 hours.
This lines up with the timeline that was talked about, right?
Correct. Before July 1st, because any school that joins the Pac-12 would need to do so by July 1st, because that's a year out. And inside a year, it costs them more money to join.
Man, this just snuck up on us.
It's just snuck up on us. You're right.
To go, hey, by the way, media rights deal for the Pac-12. Hello.
Are you going to be 4 media partners? Are you going to be cool with this? I mean, we might get a streamer in there with like an Apple. I'm making this up. We might get a CBS and Fox and ESPN. Are you looking forward to seeing where the Aztecs are going to be playing in terms of like where on TV or where on streaming?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
It's exciting because it's now becoming real. Like it's happening. They have to get 1 more football school. Right?
They need 1 more football school at least.
At least. So we'll be getting expansion plus media rights deal
within the next few days.
This is like how are you not more excited?
Like no, I am excited, but we've talked about this ad nauseum for years that I don't want to, I can't really react to news that is going to come. Like we've always known.
All we do is react to news that's not on the way.
I'm optimistic about it. I'm excited about it. And I'm waiting to see what we're going to learn here this week. Who are the TV partners that the Pac-12 is going to be working with? Who are the expansion schools that we're going to be talking about? We spent weeks on that, if not months on that. Memphis, Tulane, Texas State, UNLV, South Florida. I don't even know. We've talked about them all. UConn. We've talked about them all.
One thing that I'm pretty certain is in any hater of the Aztecs or this new version of the Pac-12, whatever they do, whatever they announce, whatever school they bring in.
Not good enough.
Not good enough. I can't believe this.
They didn't bring Ohio State?
Oh, this conference, this sucks. It's like the Mountain West 2.0.
I mean, I stick by you got the schools that are committed to spending in the Mountain West, the schools that want to win. Like Boise wants to win, San Diego State wants to win. Oregon State and Washington State were just in a bad spot. Mm-hmm. They were on the outside looking in, but they clearly want to win and get to the next level. Gonzaga is in this league in basketball.
And they want to win.
You got what Boise's done in football here recently. They were just in the college football playoff.
State basketball.
You have San Diego State basketball with Sweet 16 national championship tournament appearance the last 3 years.
And teams like Boise State and Colorado State are teams that have made the tournament consistently.
Yeah, Colorado State had a nice win in the NCAA tournament last year. They had that great game against Maryland in the second round. So I'm excited about it. I'm optimistic about it. I think if you're an Aztec fan, you should be excited and optimistic about it. If you're comparing it to the old Pac-12, stop there.
Yeah.
Of course, it isn't the old Pac-12. It's like we've said that before with other things before in this show. It's like you have to be reasonable. Like if you're going to compare – like it's like comparing last October to this June series. They're not the same. It doesn't mean this June series doesn't matter. It's just last October's series mattered more than this June series. And yeah, playing at Oregon and Washington in the same league is different, obviously, than what the new World Pac-12 is going to look like. But I still think it's an upgrade for San Diego State.
The only thing that this Pac-12 and the old Pac-12 have in common is name alone. That's it.
And two of the schools.
Right. And two of the schools, but mostly name. And they are banking on this name going a long way because that's what like the branding is, like the new Pac-12, same logo, same branding, right? It's not a Power 5 conference, but it's the name of a former Power 5 conference. And correct me if I'm wrong, don't they have a chance in the future to apply to become a Power 5, or is that not it?
Yeah, that's kind of a touchy subject.
Yeah.
It feels like the 4 have kind of taken the ball and gone
and they
home.
Probably will.
It's not the 4, Jim. It's the 2.
It's the 2.
Because the ACC and the Big 12 are
yeah.
chasing, the Big 10 and the SEC making all those decisions. Yeah. So it's less about that for me, but I do think it is about this. Is the winner of the Pac-12 getting into the college football playoff? And I think the answer a lot of the time is going to be yes. The school that emerges from the Pac-12 in football,
it's the best
I think will be in the college football playoff. This past year was the Mountain West champion in Boise State. I think in the future, it's going to be the Pac-12 champion a lot. As yes, to your point, out of the non-quote-unquote power leagues, I think it'll be the best of the others, which will give them a chance to get to that college football playoff consistently.
Right. And we have to see how it goes. But like if the winner of the Pac-12, new Pac-12, say they go 8-4,
you're not getting to the playoff.
You're not getting to the playoff. But if you have 11-1 team, 12-1 team,
then you're probably going.
Yeah, you're probably in.
Absolutely. All right. So Kevin Acey will join us coming up at 5 p.m. It will be Nick Pivetta tonight for the Padres. Remember, the last time we saw Nick Pivetta on the mound was in San Francisco. He was cruising along. The Padres were on their way to a series win in San Francisco until they weren't. Had that 5-0 lead. They somehow squandered that. Ended up losing the game, I think, 6-5. Pivetta, though, by and large, has been very good this year. What we haven't necessarily talked about this past road trip, Jim, was that it is like fair to say they could have won all 7 of those games, and they could have probably lost all 7 of those games. That's how close they were. That's how back and forth they went. I think all things considered, you take 4 out of 7, considering you could have lost more. You could have won more. You went to the road. You took 4 out of 7 to start the 17-game stretch. That was a wild 7 games where truly I wouldn't have been surprised by any result. And they got 4 wins. They could have gotten more. They could have gotten less.
And if you told me before the road trip started, hey, they're going to go 4-3, would you take it? I would probably take it.
Right.
Just with how their offense was playing. Now, again, you're right. They had leads in all 3 of their losses. And they could have won. Or no, did they lead it all on Saturday? I don't think they did. I think they were trailing.
They
tied
1-0, or were they trailing 1-0?
They were trailing.
And so then it was 1-0, 1-1, then down 3-1. I'm not sure if they scored first or not on Saturday. Look that up.
I'm looking at it right now. I know they scored first in both their losses in San Francisco.
Correct. That's right.
They were up 1-0 in that game.
On Saturday.
And they gave up 4 runs in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. Well, like combined.
Yeah. So they led in all 7 games and won 4 of them.
Led in all 7, won 4 of them. Now the leads were not big leads. They were all either. Now the one game was a big lead, the 5-0 lead over the Giants. That should have turned into a win. So you should have had a 5-2 road trip.
Yep.
But getting a split in San Francisco, Giants are hot now.
Take on Atlanta. It's changed their season around again.
Just won 5 in a row. They are right on the Dodgers and Padres' tails.
Yeah,
I think they're tied with the Padres.
They're tied with the Padres. 1 game behind the Dodgers.
And they play the Rockies this weekend.
Yep.
So all we're talking about is like, what team in the National League West will emerge in first place after this series? Might be the Giants, and they're not even playing the Padres or Dodgers right now.
That's a good point. It is.
But yeah, I think the way the Padres have played, you could look at it a couple of different ways. And if you want me to spin it as a positive, I'll do that right now. Playing close games and winning these close games, I think is only going to benefit you for the rest of your season.
Mm-hmm.
And you are going to be playing a lot of close games the remainder of the year if this offense does not decide that they're, going to actually perform and hit.
Right.
So with that being said, they've already established themselves as a good close game team. They've won a lot of 1-run games. They are in a lot of close games. They've had comebacks. Like that, they are right now one of the better, teams in baseball in 1-run games and in just close games in general. So I think that only benefits you when you're winning these close games. If you're losing these close games, it's a different story. But winning these close games, I think this just gives this team confidence that they're never out of it as far as if they're trailing 1-0 or trailing 2-0, right? And that when they're in close game situations, they feel like they can come out on the other side and get a win because they've played so many and they've more often than not have won those games.
Yeah, no, I buy that. I do. And I do buy that heading into this. By the way, we have the Padres lineup, which isn't at all surprising. I think it's been out for the last 30 minutes or so.
Where's is it like the 27 Yankees? Where's Babe Ruth?
It should be better than the 2025 Padres. You know what I mean? Like the way they've played, this is better than the 2025 Padres have produced. Like when I hear Fernando Tatis Jr., Luis Arraez, Manny Machado, Jackson Merrill, Gavin Sheets, Xander Bogaerts, Jay Cronenworth, then Tyler Wade, Elias Diaz. I mean, but Toddy, Arraez, Machado, Merrill, Sheets, you got to be scoring more than like 1 run a game or whatever they've done. And they're scoring more than that, but you get my point. But nothing odd about
they are.
Nothing, that you wouldn't expect out of this lineup here tonight against the Dodgers at home.
Yeah, it's a lineup that is not going to change much. I know there's been talk and I see it in like the Discord and the chat.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, move Tatis down and move this person down. It's like, you can't move everybody down in the lineup, guys, because it's not just one player. It's like multiple guys. It's like 4 or 5 dudes that are all struggling right now. And realistically, if Tatis is hitting leadoff for you, you're not going to move him down to like 7th or 8th. And you're not putting him 3rd or 4th.
Right.
If anything, you're just flip-flopping him in Luis Arraez, but then do you want him hitting 2nd? It is up to Fernando. It's up to Luis Arraez, and Xander Bogaerts can be moved down, but he's already is down as far as you can go.
You can't bet him 10th.
No, yeah. Sometimes you wish you could, but like these guys are going to have to do it on their own. Fernando Tatis Jr., it's up to him to get out of this slump. Luis Arraez, it's up to him to return to batting champion form. It's up to Xander. Well, I was going to say something about Xander, but I just might as well not.
Yeah, I mean, Xander, anything that he adds is just kind of gravy because you're not expecting anything. But it would be nice for him to produce, just like it would be nice for some of these other players we've talked about at length to produce as well.
And it'd be nice, John, if I bought a lottery ticket and won $1 million.
If I could lift 225, if I could bench 225.
Well, no, you actually realistically, if you started working out, would have it. No, just listen. If you started working out consistently, you could bench 225
with HGH.
You could
225.
Yes, I know you have long, lanky arms.
I would hope for 135.
You could do it.
Maybe
you could do it.
Let's bring me to the gym.
If you actually like worked out 4 times a week.
I do. I just don't lift anything.
What you do is not working out. You go to Orange Theory and you talk to people about the Aztecs.
Correct.
So that's not working out.
Correct. And I don't bench anything.
You could bench 225 in your life if you tried. Xander, he can't hit 20 plus home runs if his life depended on it right now with the Padres.
We'll see if he gets into double digits this year.
He's at 3. That's another question.
He's at 3 so far this year. All right, we'll switch gears momentarily on the other side to what has been the most memorable part of this year's NBA Finals.
Ooh.
What will this Finals be remembered for? Plus, Kevin Acee will join us coming up at 5 p.m. If you miss Fabian Ardaya, he covers the Dodgers for The Athletic. You'll hear our conversation in the 4 o'clock hour. Getting you ready for Padres and Dodgers tonight at Petco. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, we're going to hear from Mike Shildt coming up at some point between now and 6 p.m. We'll speak with the media within the hour. We do get this update from Annie Halpern, Jim, friend of the show at the UT. She writes that Darvish will be doing an up-down bullpen. What that means is he'll throw 15 pitches, take a break, and throw another quote-unquote inning. So 2 15-pitch bullpen segments for Darvish. I actually do think that's somewhat encouraging. That's a full bullpen, 15 pitches, wait, as you would do between innings for pitchers, throw another 15-ish pitches. For you, Darvish, this is now what? Monday, June 9th. I mean, this is the longest story in like pitching history for someone that's not out with Tommy John, right? We're 3 months into the saga that's not going to end in the next 7 days.
Name me or show me a weirder, like
pitching injury.
Yeah, than what you Darvish is going through right now. At least like a rehab where he's like shut down, but he plays catch, and he doesn't play catch, and he throws some side, pitches, and then he throws pitches, and he throws in the bullpen, but not a bullpen. He has a rehab start, then he doesn't, and he stops pitching. Now he's doing an up-down bullpen. Like this is a weird rehab.
What happens after the up-down bullpen?
I have no idea. Is there just like
then
a full
bullpen? Is it an
bullpen?
up bullpen? Is it a down where you don't pitch? You just sit?
All right, so tomorrow we're having a down bullpen.
So, okay, let's say this bullpen is successful.
Mm-hmm.
Then you wait 3 days. I would assume throw another bullpen. So now it's June 12th, and then maybe 5 days later you throw a rehab, and it's June 17th, and then maybe 5 or 6 or 7 days later you're in the big leagues. I mean, maybe he's back this month. Maybe he's not. I mean, that's very wishful. And then the thing with King is like there's no real plan as of yet with King. So again, this whole saga of the Dodgers series, you're not going to see Darvish or King against the Dodgers over the next 10 days. Just like what's playing out with the Dodgers. Like they're slow playing the Otani back to the mound situation that Fabian Ardaya talked about earlier. Maybe he'll be back at some point after the All-Star break. Maybe it won't be until August or even September. For the Dodgers, I feel like both teams are navigating pitching injuries, understanding what's most important is later you get in the year, but knowing you need to also get to that part of the year as well.
I have no idea when we're going to see Michael King, but as long as, like you said, you get him healthy for the right time of the year, it's more important than getting him back as soon as possible right now.
Yep.
When we're in June, he needs to be pitching in August, September, and October. Mostly September and October, if they get to October, which they have a good chance.
Yeah, definitely.
But have you looked at the National League lately?
It's good.
it's very good.
Yeah,
teams like the Cardinals and the Giants that we didn't expect to be good this year are right in it. Now, I do think some teams will fall off, but Arizona, I know they're dealing with injuries. They're still going to be a pesky team to deal with. But right now, I think I counted 9 teams in the National League that are all going to compete and contend. 6 of them will make it. Maybe 8. Count it. Do you have it right now?
Yeah, I do. I mean, by the way, Fangraphs gives the Padres, who are 10 games over 500, 52% chance of making the playoffs.
Right. It's just because of the division.
That speaks to your point.
Yeah.
No, besides wild card odds in there. But it speaks to your point that like the Cardinals are good. Cubs are really good. Brewers have been good. Mets, Phillies. I mean, Braves give me a break. Braves have 26% chance of making the postseason. Doesn't that seem high to you?
Yeah, stop. It's
10 games over 500.
I saw this tweet the other day from Danny Vietti. I think it was Danny Vietti. And he made such a good comparison. He said that the 2025 Braves are the 2023 Padres. That they have so much talent on their team. And just for whatever reason are finding new ways to lose games.
But they're not the 2019 Nationals. Because remember, the Nationals were 12 under.
Right.
Not this late.
And we've seen teams be under 500 at later parts of the year than right now.
Yep.
And make the World Series and even win the World Series.
Yep.
So
should they be fully written off yet? Probably not fully.
They're 3 in, I think, 12 since Acuna's return.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because his first swing was the home run against the Padres.
Yep.
In that Friday game that the Padres won because of Manny Machado.
Yeah.
When you went away.
I know.
You flipped the script for the Braves.
I did.
You cursed the Braves and turned the Padres back in the right direction.
Mostly Manny Machado in the right direction.
But the Padres, they had lost 6 straight.
I know they did. And
they're 10-6.
That night I left. Boom. Padres are since then 10-6. And
go back to why.
What's
the moral of the story?
I want to.
Let's pay your way. What do you need? $3,000? It's not a lot if we put it all together.
All right, realistically.
What do you
need?
Be
fine.
What do you need for 10 days?
All right, 10 days.
Yeah, 10 days. In October.
All right.
Beginning with game 1 of the World Series.
Let me just think about this real quick. I'm not good at math.
Yeah, like 300 a night.
No. Okay, so 300 a night.
Food.
I'm thinking about like resorts. So like 15. So for resorts, if I'm staying at one resort, probably 4,500.
You need 4,500
plus food. It's another like couple grand.
What about airfare?
Airfare, it's going to be at least $1,000, maybe more.
So you need 7K.
I need about 7K
for the Padres to win the World Series.
Yeah,
I could get you 7K if the Padres won the World
Series. You give me 7K right now to go back to Hawaii for October.
You'll guarantee a World Series trophy.
Yeah,
done.
Okay.
We'll see you in a while.
Aaron will love that.
All right, we'll get to the NBA Finals on the other side. The most memorable part of the finals so far has been what? We'll explain on the other side. Plus, is that good? The best and worst of the sports weekend coming up later this hour. Kevin Acey will join us at 5. We have a 4-pack of tickets to see Dierks Bentley at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater June 19th that we'll give away in the 4 o'clock hour. Don't go anywhere. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey guys, it is Jon and Jim again for the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. They have the Players Party coming up next week, as in this weekend, Saturday, June 14th. Get ready to kick off summer in style. It's their annual event. Enjoy $20 free play for everyone from 6 a.m. to midnight. Free food for everyone from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. in Jive Lounge. It's an event you're not going to want to miss. Join them to start summer off right.
So the Players Party is on Saturday, June 14th. Father's Day brunch at Prime Cut is on Sunday, June 15th from 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Show Dad just how much he means to you with a decadent brunch at Prime Cut featuring lobster tails and hand-carved prime rib. Make his day extra special with a meal that he'll love.
Plus, catch all the sports action, Padres, NBA Finals, NHL Stanley Cup, Tony Gwynn Sports Pub with the great food. You can watch all the action. It's where fandom meets fantastic. It's at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
All right, this update's brought to you by Indeed.com. Padres and Dodgers meet for the first time starting tonight at Petco Park. 6:40 first pitch. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres against Dustin May. For the Dodgers in the NBA Finals is all tied up at a game apiece as the Thunder blew out the Pacers last night. Game 3 is on Wednesday in Indy. When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Fabian Ardaya. If you missed him, you'll hear that conversation at 4:30. He covers the Dodgers for The Athletic. Kevin Acey is our Padres insider. He will join us coming up at 5 p.m.
We have to talk about this. So during the break, Jon goes, because we did behind the curtain. So we had to do a live read for Jamul Casino during the break.
Correct.
And as Brent tells us over the loudspeaker in here, get ready for Jamul.
Mm-hmm.
You are halfway out of your seat and you go, darn it, I have a package at the front desk.
Correct.
And what is that package? Sorry, what are those 2 packages, Jon?
Well, they're just small card orders. Nothing. I'm just dabbling. Just people have been reaching out. They've been, getting in contact with us.
Now we have had fans send you cards.
We've had some people send stuff.
Yeah. which is awesome. But you've also purchased a few
packs.
low level,
nothing
not
expensive.
very expensive cards.
No, I'm not spending hundreds of dollars.
You're not the person to go out and spend hundreds of dollars. I know you.
No, I'm not going to take out a second mortgage.
No. If something's like $20 and you like it,
yeah,
you'll buy it and you'll be like, I spent $20.
I'm not going to spend $2,000.
No.
Yet.
Now, if you had $2,000 to spend,
I mean, does Jones need the college thing?
No, the college,
you know what I mean?
Like,
it's like.
Degrees are worthless these days anyways.
Yeah, you can homeschool. It's fine.
Right? Like D's get high school degrees.
Yeah. Get his diploma from high school and then just have him go to community college. It's fine.
Do we want to see what we have here real quick?
We absolutely want to see
I know. Jim also, here's the problem. I've become a gateway for Jim.
Yeah.
And Jim is a spend risk. Like he's trying to get into the Pokemon game. And he's looking at, I don't even know what he's looking at, but he's looking at expensive things.
So far right now, if I put everything that I want in my cart.
How much money?
Hold on. Stand by. In my cart right now, we have $633 worth of cards.
Do it. Check out. Just Aaron doesn't mind. I talked to her.
Yeah, totally fine. Just got back from Hawaii, spent a lot of money, and what do I do when we get back?
Listen,
buy cards.
You have to go to the fertility clinic. The least you can do is pick up some cards.
Honey, I had to do the deed at a fertility clinic. Let me buy these cards
to make me feel better.
Yeah, these make me feel better.
Yeah. You understand, right, Aaron?
Yeah, she'll understand. Totally.
She's not leaving you.
And in worst case scenario, what's going to happen? Nothing.
Honey, you're good at the fertility clinic, and I'll get you some Pokemon cards.
Yeah, exactly. Yay. I feel like that's a fair trade.
Fair trade off. I give a little to get a little.
To give a little to get something.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought this was this.
But what do you got here? You ripped in something?
Again,
what you got?
Now, you may recall the other day, I had picked up a Nick Boyd Bowman U Aztec for life spent last year on San Diego State.
For what, $2?
It was just a couple bucks. Now, what I didn't tell you in real time was that I think is going to Jones because I had also ordered an autographed Nick Boyd Bowman card. This is just a few dollars more.
Let me see that.
Okay, let me just show that off to our YouTube viewers.
All right.
Okay.
Very nice.
And Jones loves the Aztecs. Like I love the Aztecs, so he's getting one of these. Okay. Pretty cool. I think it's a what they call sticker auto. Like you just signed a sticker and they put it on the card.
Oh yeah.
That's what makes it affordable.
It says autograph.
Like sticker on there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it looks good.
Top certified. Okay, I get it.
Right? It's cool.
It's a Bowman Chrome prospect autograph card.
Yeah.
And look, if Nick Boyd ends up becoming like a 15-time All-Star, makes the Hall of Fame, then this card's going to be worth a lot.
It's in the same stat with like Cooper Flagg, but I just wanted Nick Boyd because he played for the Aztecs. You know, just like I'll want like Miles Bird in the future.
Will you ever?
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Oops.
Oh no. Oh my God.
Okay, so I bought a few packs, apparently too.
A few?
Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Let me see that. All right, you officially have a problem.
No, they were all on like discount. That's why I ended up with them.
You have I'm reading this off here. You have a Illusions 2023 NFL trading card, 6 cards per pack. You got 2 of those.
Yeah.
You got a Bowman Chrome 2024 4 cards pack.
Correct.
Football. You have a Optic Donruss football 4 cards Panini pack.
Yep.
You have a Donruss Panini pack 10 cards per pack 2024 NFL. You have a this one's gonna be cool. Panini Mosaic 5 card per pack.
Looking forward to that.
You also have a 2021, 2022, another Chronicles card pack.
Let me just rip one on air.
Hold on. Which one do you want to rip?
It's a rip and wax Wednesday.
It's a rip and wax Monday. It's a rip and wax Wednesday on a Monday.
Okay. I think I either open Mosaic basketball or Donruss football.
Now, are you going to open these at home or are these for Jones? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, these are for Jones.
No, they're not for Jones, but like,
yeah, no, I'm going to save a couple for Jones. I'm serious.
Okay, so are we going to open
packs,
them all on the radio
will
now?
Kill me if I give him 7 packs of cards.
Correct.
I'm just going to open one. Happen. I'll just open one.
Give me open the Mosaic, rip some wax, bro.
Yeah, let's see if we get like an autograph, like, Steph. That'd be nice. Like a Steph rookie.
I will steal it from you.
PSA 10. Okay, so this is Mosaic.
Ooh.
Okay, and then speaking of the NBA, we'll get into the finals. Okay. Tim Hardaway Jr. Oh, wait, we got some color in here. We got some color in there. We got a red
I like
card.
It. Ooh, a red.
We got Tim Hardaway.
Okay, Tim Hardaway.
Miles Turner,
Junior.
who is 3 wins away from being a champion. Miles Turner with the Pacers.
Okay.
He's basically LeBron.
Yeah, that card's worth 12 cents.
Correct. Desmond Bain.
Ooh, dude, it's a Pacers card.
Yeah.
Why is the Pacers jersey blue?
I don't even know who this is. Jordan Nwora, Pacers.
Is like the Pacers deck?
No, never heard of him. Now we got the red card. Should I start from the bottom of the top? Tell me who this is.
Hold on. There we go.
Okay.
Hold it up the camera.
Let me look in the back. I can't look in the back.
Do you even open cards right, bro?
Steven Adams.
Bust.
Yeah. Okay. So that's why you don't buy packs. They say just buy single cards.
Yeah.
But it's fun to open packs.
Packs are fun.
It's fun, man.
Packs are fun to open until you open them and you are thoroughly disappointed.
Well, like Rich McGuire just said in the chat, Kristen will like the Pacer cards because she's a Pacers fan.
Will she?
Yeah, she likes Miles Turner. Who doesn't like Miles Turner? That's a Pacers fan. All right, let's get into the finals. We'll get back to the Padres. So game 1 had the great finish. It did with Halliburton, although the game itself wasn't terrific, but the last 4 minutes were entertaining.
Very entertaining.
Game 2 was not entertaining. And I watched the whole thing. And once they were down 22, the Pacers with like 10 minutes left, I'm like, I can't watch this. We kept it on, but I couldn't watch it. So the series is even at a game apiece. But one of the takeaways so far with the series, there's been Halliburton shot. The other has been NBA Finals logo gate on floor. It wasn't on floor for game 1. They then put it on floor. How did they put it on floor? It didn't look very good.
They like superimpose it through. They've done it a lot with like sponsors, but I think at this moment in time, it kind of feels after watching game 2, this has a chance to end in 5 or 6 with the Thunder winning.
Yeah, I could see 6
with the Pacers probably winning 1 at home, right?
Kristen didn't like we said that last week. She's like, I heard you say Thunder in 6. I'm like, yeah, but I said I'm rooting for the Pacers.
Kristen has to know that everything that I've said this year so far has been wrong.
True.
So she should be happy that I'm picking against the Pacers.
But we have to offer our opinion. I mean, you watch these two teams, like the Thunder they're very good.
Yeah. So with that being said, this finals is shaping up, unless the Pacers are going to play much better. They've only led for 2 minutes the entire series.
The 0.3 seconds plus 2 minutes in game 2.
Yeah. So unless they start playing better and unless they, win at home and Halliburton starts to play better, this finals could be over very quickly with the Thunder winning. And Shea's going to win the MVP and he's going to put together on paper one of the best seasons in NBA history. And it will be one of the most forgettable seasons, in my opinion, in NBA history. Even though on paper they're incredible. But right now, the number one talking point in this NBA Finals is how the court looks.
Yes, I agree with you. But I do think the Halliburton shot, if the Pacers hang in this series, you're right. If they lose in 5, water under the bridge.
If they lose in 5, the moment from game 1, it will be just like the Lakers Sixers final.
2001. I agree.
Now, Lakers had way more star power than the Thunder could ever dream of having.
Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah, don't get better than that.
Yeah.
But that finals, him stepping over Tyronn Lue was the moment from that finals, even though it turned out to be a gentleman's sweep. No one remembers anything that happened in the other 4 games that the Lakers won. Nobody.
And maybe Shaq picked up Kobe at the end of that series.
That's the thing. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling this finals could potentially turn into something like that. And it's on its way to doing that. And I mean, I didn't see the ratings for last night. I don't know if they're out yet.
They can't be as good as game 1, can they?
But Adam Silver, dude, you've just messed this whole thing up because you caved to the bullying from social media. You said, fine, you guys want logos on the court of the NBA finals? Here you go. And they put together this half-ass logo. That was awful.
Superimposed. And now he made the point of when you watch back highlights from the finals, it's nice to know you're watching the finals. Therefore, the logo should be on the floor. But I'm like, no, you superimposed the thing near half court.
Wait, Adam Silver said that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
he understood the criticism that when you're watching the NBA finals, you should be able to look back in the games and know that there was like a differentiation.
Well, I don't know, bro. Maybe think of that before the series starts.
Even Chris said last night, it's like, it's kind of like NASCAR'd out. You look at the floor and there's just like sponsors everywhere, which I get. They're trying to pay for the rights. But like, isn't anything like sacred anymore? Just put it on the floor. Like actually like paint it on the floor. NBA finals.
Well, it doesn't help that the star power in this series is very little. It also doesn't help that the brands are in the finals.
Yeah.
It just, it doesn't help that the production, forget about what's on the court.
Yeah.
The production of the finals is awful. It's you should have thought of this before the series started. This is your premier event. And especially with 2 teams, who's on these teams that aren't going to really draw. Like Shea's the best player in the league, or at least one of the best players in the league. He's the MVP. He does not draw. Tyrese Halliburton, he's a star player, but is anybody considering him a top 10 player in the league?
No, and he's on the Pacers, so it's different.
With that being, like you have to have a plan going in if you're Adam Silver to say, look, regardless of who's in the finals, we need to make sure that the production, the look, the feel, everything about it feels big time. So then we can help elevate these teams with the production we have, with the on-court visuals, with the signage, with the logos, like all of it. So we can help build these people up. Instead, through the first 2 games, other than the Halliburton shot, the main talking point has been
the court,
the broadcast, and that's dominated these finals so far.
Yeah,
that's not a good look for your league.
I would agree. By the way, Shea in his last 4 playoff games,
he's incredible.
40, 34, 38, 34. I mean, the guy just flat out scores. It's incredible. I mean, he makes it look easy. He just falls out of bed with 34 points.
He does.
It's kind of crazy.
And the sad part is, like, no one will remember it.
Yeah, it's not. He does it differently. I mean, it is a lot at the line. It is a lot of driving. He's not the most brilliant shooter.
He's not a flashy player.
Yep.
He's not going to be dunking over guys. He's not going to be shooting 30-footers. And it's a brand of basketball that people aren't used to now because of what we've seen the last 2 decades, or at least decade. And it's old school style, right? But I don't know. Shea I feel like it's going to take a lot for Shea to like really break through.
And the only way this series breaks through, it's got to go 7. Like if we can somehow stumble into a 7-game series, okay, I think he can stick out. But otherwise,
it's just boring. There's no like good talking points. I don't know. To me, it's just boring.
Yeah. All right. On the other side, is that good? The best and worst of the sports weekend, plus an update on Michael King. We'll share with you coming up next. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760.
John is ripped.
We opened some
packs during the break here.
The rest are for Jones. Because here's the thing. These will go to Jones because Kristen's away next week.
Ooh,
so I need something to entertain him with. And like we can entertain him with these packs.
You can do 1 pack a day.
1 pack a day. Yeah, that's all we do.
So you ripped, how many packs will you rip here?
Kristen
4?
thinks I've gotten him too many cards.
There's no
such thing. It's just cards.
Just get him.
It's $2.
Yeah, it's $2.
You know,
less than that actually.
Yeah, it's just fun.
And then get him a binder and puts all his cards in a binder.
I got him a binder.
You got him a binder.
I got him a binder. We got a box. We're putting cards in shoe boxes. We're putting things in binders. Now we just opened a pack at the break. We have an update on Michael King, but we'll get to that. Forget about that. But in our pack that we just opened, Jim got a couple of high-profile Niners. Now, these aren't like one of ones.
No, not even close.
But you got a Brock Purdy and you got a Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey. I don't even know how to say it. It's Donruss.
Donruss, dude.
Donruss.
You don't remember like Donruss?
It's a number 4 Panini 2024 Christian McCaffrey card. And then I got
what's the panini? Is he like posing with a sandwich?
Yeah, it's with the sandwich.
That's the name of the brand. And then a Brock Purdy card. Pretty cool colors.
Yeah, shiny.
2023. Now, if I keep these cards and they end up sucking this year, then it's my fault.
It's your fault. Well, just put them in like I asked ChatGPT what to do. You put them in salt, I think, or rice,
or I just rip them up, throw them away.
It turns their season around if you put it in rice.
I don't know if I want that card now
because you think it could be cursed.
I could have cursed them. Yeah.
Yeah. Test it.
But no, here's the thing. I didn't open it.
You're not. Dude, you can't curse the Niners. They've cursed themselves.
I know they really have.
All right.
Do it themselves.
Here's the update on Michael King.
What do we got?
This is from friend of the show, Darnay Tripp.
Okay.
Who's down there.
Of course he is.
Supposedly. He won't come on the show, but he'll go down to Petco.
Oh, it must be nice.
Darnay says Mike Schildt said they are still gathering information on Michael King's injury. How much gathering can you do? He hasn't pitched in 2 weeks.
That's team speak for we don't know yet.
Mention that it's not common with baseball players to gather information. He has played some catch, but the recommendation is rest in a holding pattern to see what it is, and how to treat it.
I tell you what.
Does that sound encouraging?
Tell you what. I need to find whatever bed he slept on and make sure I never sleep on that bed ever.
There's no way this is fully related to sleeping.
That's
wrong.
what they claim. That's what Kevin Acee has said, that they 100% claim. Everybody's talked to.
It's how he slept on the bed
multiple times. It is 100% from how he slept on the bed and nothing else.
I don't know if I buy that.
Not that he went out there. Not that he slept wrong and then went out there through a bullpen and then hurt himself even more, which I would buy because he was scratched pretty late into the afternoon that Saturday, if I remember correctly. It wasn't like they got to the ballpark and they said, all right, I don't feel good. I slept wrong. Let's scratch you here. They scratched him like 30 minutes before first pitch.
No.
Yeah.
The Saturday before the game?
Mm-hmm.
King was not scratched 30 minutes before
he
first pitch.
He was scratched, if I remember correctly, late in the afternoon. Go find the tweet.
I don't want to. Could you find it? It was no way. That's not how I remember. You might be right. I don't remember it like that.
I might be right.
It was a Saturday.
No, you're not right, but you might be right.
No, they put their lineup out and they had a pitcher already on. No way. He was scratched from their lineup. Go find that tweet.
Go find that. I remember. I'll find it.
Okay. Find that tweet.
What day was it? It was the 23rd, right? No, 24th. 24th.
You were away?
I was in Hawaii. I was at that moment. I remember I was at the pool drinking a Mai Tai, looking out the ocean. I saw the tweet and I go, okay, and drank my Mai Tai.
Okay.
All right, let me just scroll here. Keep scrolling.
Scroll back.
All right, the 24th, right?
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Saturday matinee. They tweeted out at 9:41 a.m.
He was on?
Michael King was in the lineup card as their starting pitcher.
You're a genius. I didn't remember that.
Then at 12:31 p.m., Michael King has been scratched from today's game with right shoulder stiffness.
And where were they? At home or on the road?
They were in Atlanta. So first pitch in Atlanta
was actually 4:00 that day Pacific.
Or was it
4:00 Eastern?
It was 1:00
our time.
Pacific.
So you're saying that he officially was scratched just 30 minutes before the game?
Let me look.
I don't know if
Atlanta,
you'll find that.
Saturday. First pitch. Hold on.
So you might be right. Is that what we're saying?
First pitch was 4:10 p.m. in Atlanta, so 1:10 here.
So he was scratched 40 minutes before first pitch.
Yeah.
How did I not remember that? And I was in San Diego and you were in Hawaii.
Because I remember specifically looking at my phone.
Yeah, I remember it being like midday, but maybe I was thinking the game was at night.
Pool.
Yeah. Okay. So what are you saying?
My working theory now is he woke up, didn't feel right, went to the ballpark, said, you know what? I'll just get some treatment.
Yeah, I'm still pitching.
I'll be fine. Went out through a bullpen.
And they're like, oh.
Maybe aggravated something, did not feel right. That only made matters worse. And then at 12:30,
they're like, say he slept on it wrong. Just say you slept on it wrong.
Yeah. And again, they knew beforehand. It wasn't like at 12:30 they found out. And they said, oh, put out a tweet. They knew earlier than that. But my guess is like he was throwing, right?
So what I don't understand then the prognosis if we're trying to gather information. What information is to be gathered?
Or
right?
When do they throw their bullpens? How close to the first pitch? Like,
well, they go out 25, 35 minutes. They start stretching.
Okay.
You're stretching 40 minutes out. You're in the bullpen 25 minutes out.
Okay. So maybe he didn't throw that.
Yeah. I don't know if he threw or not. He started stretching. It's like, this ain't it.
Probably that.
Was anyone at the game? Did anyone see him on field in the hour leading up to the game?
Does anybody know if he threw
on
a baseball
field in uniform?
Did he throw a baseball to anybody that morning? Or that afternoon, or whatever.
I do wonder what comes next. The recommendation that Darnay says is rest. Okay. And then what? Ramp back up?
I don't know. Pinched nerves are.
There's a lot to that. I get it. There's a lot to a pinched nerve, but it shouldn't keep him out for months. A pinched nerve. Come on. I mean,
they hurt, dude.
Yes, I know, but you and I both agree that shouldn't keep him.
I know
that shouldn't keep him out for months. I mean, most people in like their 40s have dealt with pinched nerves, sleeping on it wrong, but it's not something that typically bothers someone for months on end. Not typically, not with the treatment that they can get in the major leagues.
True, I agree with
what
that.
I'm saying.
But it's not like it's football and the guy has a pinched nerve in his shoulder. He can go out there and just be fine. Just shoot him up. He's okay. Right. It's baseball, and throwing a baseball as a pitcher puts a lot of torque on your shoulder and everything else with your arm. And so if you got something wrong, it's like this injury, if you go out there and you try to pitch through it, could lead to another injury.
Right. Which you don't want. And the season's so long and the way that they've played, they can overcome it hopefully in the short term.
And if you're Michael King, I'm not saying he's thinking this at all, but if you think about the long play here, you are like on the verge of entering free agency and getting paid $150 million.
Not if you don't pitch.
Do you want to go out there and risk that?
You ain't touching. You ain't touching 150 if the last we see of Michael King is in that May start.
No, what I'm saying is if he feels like, you know what, I can go out there and I can just pitch through it. I want to do this for my guys. I want to go out there, help the team win. And getting injured later on because I'm going out there and pitching right now because of this pinch nerve, like, be damned. I'm a competitor. I want to go and help the team. If I'm his agent, I'm like, no way in hell are you going out there unless you're 100%.
Right. You'd rather be safe and cautious. I do buy that. I mean, if he comes back in August, looks like Michael King, yeah, he's getting paid in free agency. But if he comes back and he's ineffective, or if he doesn't return, this is going to cost him significantly because that's just how it works. I mean, you can't not appear for 4 months and then get paid what you were supposed to get paid before going out due to injury is what I would say. I mean, he's going to be back. He told Marty 2 weeks ago, like, that's a clown question, bro. He was joking. But he's like, I'll be back. The question is when. All right, we'll get to the wrap on the other side. Also in the 4 o'clock hour, your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to see Dierks Bentley at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. That's coming up June 19th. We'll hear from Fabian Ardaya from The Athletic on this Padres-Dodgers series at 4:30. Plus Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, will join us at 5. Hour 3 of Jon and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app is next.
All right, this update is brought to you by WhatsApp. Padres and Dodgers finally meet this year for the first time. 6:40 first pitch at Petco Park. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres against Dustin May for the Dodgers in the NBA Finals. It's all tied up at a game apiece as after the Thunder beat the Pacers last night. Game 3 of that series is Wednesday night in Indy. On WhatsApp, your personal message, stay private. So things like those selfies from last weekend's party stay between you and your bestie, because on WhatsApp, your personal messages are yours. No one else can see or hear them, not even them. WhatsApp, message privately with everyone.
It's Jon and Jim to warm up that drive home.
Is this the continuation of a soap opera between the Padres and Dodgers? A lot of the names and faces are the same. Some aren't, like Jerks and Profar. Or is this entirely new to you? New year, it starts over again here tonight.
No.
It's a little of both?
A little of both, but those things are still there.
Right. That's what I think.
They're not going anywhere. Like it's a lot of the same faces, a lot of the same big faces.
Now, time for Jon and Jim.
San Diego, Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 3 of Jon and Jim. We'll hear from Mike Schildt momentarily. I say that right? His name's Mike Schildt, right?
His name is Mike Shildt, John.
Okay, we'll hear from him momentarily.
Also known as Shildt.
Shildt. We'll hear from Fabian Ardaya, covers the Dodgers for The Athletic at 4:30, and Kevin Acey will join us coming up at 5 p.m. Plus, we have the wrap to get to. Plus, we have Dirks Bentley tickets to give away.
We just have so much to get to today. It's only Monday.
And it's only game 1 of at least 13 this year between the Padres and the Dodgers, coming up at 6:40 tonight from downtown San Diego at Petco.
I am excited because these games, they feel different. It's like an elevated feel, right? It's like the opposite of what you get from the NBA Finals this year. Like you feel like these games matter. You feel like they're big time. Star players on both teams. The crowd is going to be electric.
It's different than even like this weekend against the Brewers. Yeah, you had the national TV game Saturday, and then they had this Roku game Sunday. And Brewers have been good, but I'm like, it's Padres Brewers. It's not Padres Dodgers.
You're not getting a full house in Milwaukee.
No, it's some nice crowds, maybe like Saturday, but yeah, 100%. So that's coming up at 6:40. We do have Mike Schildt pregame sound. Do you know where this starts, Brent? So Brent's going to hop on here. Where's the start?
On if the long delays built up the anticipation with the game, because the
lots of
the way through the season.
Yeah. Got you. All right, I like it. Let's take a listen to Mike Schildt.
Quite frankly, not really. Not for me, at least. I know there's been anticipation, and I have been asked recently about the schedule and playing them a little bit later in the season, and quite frankly, I hadn't thought about it. And as we play who is on the schedule, so today they're on the schedule, and here we are.
How about any unfinished business from how the season ended last year against this ball club?
There's unfinished business against everybody. Yeah.
As far as how important is the next 10 games, 7 out of the next 10 against this team, and obviously it can determine the division title, playoff potential, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I think I'm going to bore you with my answers consistently because I view things in a very day-by-day, team-by-team. There's a 162-game schedule. They're all equally important. At the end of it, I won't devalue the fact that a head-to-head competition isn't important, but head-to-head competition is important against whoever we play. So, we just got through playing a stretch of games that were important. Today's important. Tomorrow's going to be important. A month from now, you're going to ask a similar question, and I get it completely. And, but I'm not going to make it bigger than it is. And we're going to show up and play baseball today, and couldn't be more excited, I can tell you that.
How nice is it to have Nick Pivetta on the mound? He's been throwing the ball so well for you guys lately.
Yeah, Nick's been great. He's been fantastic. He's thrown the ball well, and that's a good guy to start the series.
What's the latest on what Yu's going to do today? So he's ready for a bullpen?
Yeah, Yu's going to get a bullpen with some ups and downs. So run 15 pitches up and then take a little break and then another 15 or so back up again and see where it goes. That's a good sign, right?
How about Michael? What has he been doing?
Michael's been learning a lot about what he's dealing with our medical staff. Is also on that learning curve of what it is and still continue to gather a lot of information. Rest is the prescription right now. He has played some catch, but nothing too aggressive and consistent. So we're just in a holding pattern to see what it is and the best way to treat it, if there is a better way to treat it outside of just the rest.
Like, what do you make of just the stretch that you guys have been in? It seems like every game's a close game. Injuries, maybe guys kind of a little bit down, and the fact that despite all that, you've been able to more often than not find a way.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. I mean, I'm really, really pleased, throughout quite honestly, the whole season. I mean, and that's just, we talk about winners finding solutions, and no one's going to feel sorry for you in this league necessarily. And we're not going to make excuses for anything. But the fact of the matter is we've had, talking to Michael and Darvish questions already that, rightfully get asked a lot. And they haven't been able to participate recently. And, in use case, not yet at all. And so, we've had Crony and Jackson miss over a month, and Jay Hayes been out. And, guys have been dinged up. Louis was out for a while, and guys are playing banged up right now, which is at that time of the season where guys are doing that, but they're doing it well and they're posting. And, end of the day, we're playing it together and doing as good as we can fundamentally to shake hands every day. And that's the goal.
I know not wanting to make too much of this particular series, is there anything you can do? Can you use what happened in October, motivation, anything like that, or is it completely finished?
I mean, listen, there's Scan's question. I mean, look, do we need more motivation? No, we don't need more motivation. We had, if you want to talk specifically about the team we're playing, we beat them head to head during the season last year. We lost in the 5th game in the playoffs. It was as close as you can make it. So, more motivation, better, more or less. We're going to go and do what you did last year. We're going to go up and play them head to head, and we couldn't be more excited to do it.
Like, you might say that it's just another series, but I know your fans don't feel that way. What are you expecting? Just starting with tonight.
Yeah, no, I understand. Listen, I can only speak from my perspective, and I think that's a healthy win over the course of doing this for a while, over the course of, just playing baseball and not making things bigger than they are. We talk about that with players, and I think it's applicable regardless who we play. We're going to respect and compete against our opponent. So that has worked well and will work well. Relative to the excitement around, I get it completely. The stadium's going to be rocking. It's going to be fantastic. I appreciate the heightened awareness to what likely is the best rivalry in baseball. And, as far as what to look for, you're going to look to see good, hard-nosed baseball and us getting after it as hard as we can at every turn.
One more thing on Michael King. You said that you guys are still gathering information on the injury or the recovery? On
the injury itself specifically. It's not something that is historic to our game. It's not something that players have had. I'm not a medical doctor, clearly, or have any real medical training. So if anybody's CPR, you're in trouble. I can't speak the specificity of it. All I know is it's not something historically anything we've dealt with in this game. So we're sure get an education around it.
How big has Manny been for your team the last few weeks?
Manny's been tremendous for our team all the time. Manny's just, he's a cornerstone of what this organization is doing well consistently over the last several years. And he's a big part of it. And I'm really proud of him and excited for what he's done for us. He's been great.
Lindsay had this great comment during the postseason that the Padres try to get under their skin on purpose, like doing things like bat flipping after a single. Have you noticed that about your team?
I've not heard that comment. I've not noticed it about the team. As far as getting under people's skin, that streak can go both ways. But I choose not to let that happen. Again, we look to compete, and it's interesting if people want to look for things that may or may not be there to motivate them. But I can't speak to that.
What's the next step for you, Darvish?
You're just throwing a bullpen today where he's going to throw like 15 or so pitches and then sit down and throw again, and then we'll see how he recovers from there.
That was
was it a feisty Mike Shildt?
Little feisty. He started out very short for Mike Schildt's standards as far as answering questions go.
Just another series, but you're being short.
I do understand his mindset that, as a manager and as a baseball team, can't get too high, can't get too low, especially on June 9th. Now, once we get to September and obviously October, everything elevates and series become bigger. But as of right now, I understand where he's coming from that point of view. And I'm glad he finally got to, and it took Marty asking the question. It finally got him to a point where he did acknowledge it's the best rivalry in baseball going right now. He understands from a fan's perspective, this is not just another series, because the last thing you want to do is just tell the fans like it's not that big.
No, but
it is.
But I get internally, you're not trying to make it bigger than it is.
Too.
You have enough issues right now scoring. Thankfully, they've been winning, so I do understand that. I thought the best question over the 6 minutes was Darnay asking how big Manny has been.
Oh,
because I feel like nobody's talked about that.
No one's talked about that.
Manny's been really good.
Well, you could tell Mike Schildt really appreciated that question.
Oh, he appreciated that question, all right.
But then Darnay had to ask him about
what did he say that got under his skin? Like, something about 2024. Like, do you need the extra motivation, maybe?
Well, the first one was the extra motivation. And then the last one was the Manny question where he completely redeemed himself.
So, hey, Manny's been pretty good, right, Mike?
That's a pro right there.
Yep.
What you do is you have 3 questions in the tank. You ask the first one, which is obvious, softball. You ask the controversial one second, and then you butter him up with the third one.
Yourself with the third one.
Because when you ask him a question where he has an opportunity, Mike Shildt that is, to really just rant and rave about a certain player, that is when you just completely redeem yourself. But
do you think Schildt? Yeah, I'm pretty sure Schildt's been a pretty big fan of Manny's productivity. Because without Manny Machado, this team is not in the position they're in right now, which is 10 games over 500. All right, we will get to the wrap on the other side. Then at 4:30, you'll hear from Fabian Ardaya, who covers the Dodgers for The Athletic. Then Kevin Acee will join us coming up at 5 p.m. here tonight. We also have those Dierks Bentley tickets to give away coming up later this hour. We're getting you ready for Padres and Dodgers. That's coming up at 6:40. The wrap is on the other side. Kevin Acee at 5 p.m. This is Jon Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. Wednesday at 6 on San Diego Sports 760. It's STFC Midweek Live. You're going to hear from Mikey Varis, their head coach, interviews with players as well. Find out the latest from the club. STFC Midweek Live. It's every Wednesday at 6 on your home for STFC, San Diego Sports 760. We'll hear from Fabian Ardaya coming up at 4:30. He covers the Dodgers for The Athletic. Kevin Acey will join us at 5 p.m. But right now, let's get to this.
Time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Is game 3 of NBA? Last week's was still up there too. I almost read it again. Is game 3 of the NBA Finals a must-win game for the Pacers?
I'm gonna say yes, because if you lose game 3, this thing is gonna be over quickly. Now again, the Thunder take away the first round against Memphis, but the Thunder in so far each series they've lost like big in at least one game of the series. To the Timberwolves, they lost by 40. It went 7 against the Nuggets, and I believe there's one game in there where the Nuggets blew out the Thunder, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they did at home.
So each series against good teams, the Thunder have been blown out at least one time on the road. They're damn near impossible to beat at home unless you have a game-winning shot in your pocket.
Right.
That's the only way they've lost at home this year is by game-winning shots. So if you don't win game 3, the Pacers do play well. I can see if the Thunder play well, I could see the Pacers blowing out the Thunder in game 4, but the series to me would be over still.
The Pacers have to win game 3. They'd probably still be a slight underdog to win the series, would be my guess. But I think if you don't win game 3, Oklahoma City can rest assured that they're going to go home at worst 2-2. They still got game 5. They still have game 7. I think game 3 is a gotta have it for Indiana, especially the way they played by and large in game 2. I think they need to bounce back and play well in game 3 and win that game to potentially make it a 7-game series and maybe steal the thing from Oklahoma City. Next question.
Is Manny Machado a legit NL MVP candidate?
I think he's a legit all-star. I don't know if he is like top 3 MVP candidate right now, but he could very well be a top 3 MVP candidate in the National League if he continues to play like this. Right now, in my opinion, it's Otani. You got Freddie Freeman, who we're going to see tonight as well. He's been fantastic.
Alonso's been really good.
Pete Alonso. I think Pete Crow Armstrong.
I think if the season ended today, he wouldn't be top 3. He might be like in that top 5 category. I'm talking about Machado.
Yeah, top 5, top 10.
And by the way, it's almost an impossible climb when you look at what Otani has done. The 23 home runs, the over 1,000 OPS. Man, he's never going to be anywhere near Otani in home runs. And he doesn't have the same star power as Shohei Otani because nobody does. So it would take like an Otani injury or collapse. The collapse isn't happening. So it would take some type of Otani injury in my mind. Plus, Machado's going to have to play like this all year. He's going to have to go hit a career-high 38 home runs to just be in the conversation, in my opinion.
I do think that if at the end of the year, Otani's already on the pace that could break his 50 home run mark from last year. But say Otani slows down a little bit. Say he has like 44, 45 home runs. And you get, 33 home runs? What's going on?
The question you put in there, we asked Friday.
Okay, well, sorry. I don't remember the question we asked Friday.
Well, that's what we asked.
Okay. My bad.
Next question.
Who do you hope the Pac-12's next edition is?
I'm going to go with, I want it to be Memphis, but that's not just a football school. It's also basketball as well.
Yeah, which is fine.
But that's fine. I'll say Memphis. I want Memphis.
I would probably choose UNLV. I don't think it's happening. At this point, I like it being kind of a regional league, but I do think UNLV would make sense just being in Las Vegas potentially. I do like the Memphis play. I do like the Tulane play if you're going to kind of branch out a little bit, but I would probably go with UNLV. That'll do it for the wrap. The other question is fine. It's fine. We asked, will Aaron Rodgers lead the Steelers to the postseason next year? And we both said no.
Oh, I forgot.
Remember that?
It's not really something I obviously remember because I put it in the wrap.
No, we don't really remember anything from previous shows.
It is actually very hard sometimes to remember things that we say.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because we talk for 4 hours a day and then another hour and a half at night for the wrap-up show. Like, it's hard. I'm like, what did I say?
Yeah, 100%. Well, that's why it's important to make sure, like, whatever you're saying, like what we do is like truthful and accurate. Because it's easy when you do 5 hours of shows per day or even 4 hours per day over the course of a year to like they would say in politics, to flip-flop. It's just so easy to go one way with something and then go the other way because there's so much time. Right. There's so much to react to.
And we're not like, it's like, oh, Stephen A. Smith, he said he gets stuff wrong all the time too. It's like, well, Stephen A. Smith actually has like producers in a team that like keep track of all of his stuff for him.
Right.
Like he has like a social media team, I bet.
Oh, 100%. We do too.
We do?
You.
Yeah.
You're the social media team.
Yeah.
I can't even watch, to your point though, on the finals. Outside of the game itself,
I can't watch.
I can't. Else. I mean, we'll have it on. I'll have the volume down. And I'll see Stephen A. doing all this stuff, and he's getting loud. It's 45 minutes out.
He's yelling.
I'm just like, I'm going to turn this down. I don't need it. And to your other point, like NBA TV's had some good coverage. I've watched some stuff post or like some of the interviews that you're not catching on ESPN because they're just showing Stephen A. yelling about things. Mm-hmm. Again, Mike Breen's been terrific. Richard Jefferson, the more I watch, the more I can't deal with it. The more I listen, the more I mean, when I played in the 0-1 finals for New Jersey, I don't care. Nobody cares.
Oh, that's right. He did play the finals for New Jersey.
And he drops that like as if you can't use that as if anyone has any clue what you're talking about. You can't use like that matchup I had in 0-1. Guys, it's been 25 years, Richard. Like this isn't some like iconic thing in basketball history that you can reference.
It's a really tough listen. And I feel like game 2 from like the production standpoint was the NBA admitting to social media, guess what, guys, bullying us works. Mm-hmm. Because not only did they have the court just, I guess in their opinion, dressed up. It wasn't. It looked awful. But they added the logo. They added the finals logo, right? And you also had Mike Breen doing a first quarter bang. What is this?
And he said it was a makeup for not doing it in game 1.
Because he got criticized on social media.
That's right.
For not having a bang call for Tyrese Halliburton, which in real time, I didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah, because it wasn't a 3, and he's almost done it without exception, right? There's only a couple of 2s in his career where he's done the bang call.
He said that he has only called 1 2-point bang call in his career, and that was the Kobe Bryant game winner in, I believe, 2008 against the Phoenix Suns at home.
Wow.
And remember that shot?
Yeah, I do, of course. Yeah.
Gets the tip.
Yeah.
It's in, I think it was in overtime. Jump ball center court. He gets it, goes to his right, wing 2, bang, does the fist pump, and that was I saw he was on an interview with Jimmy Trang of Yahoo, and he asked that question, and he said the only other 2 that I've called a bang on in my life is that Kobe Bryant game winner.
But he felt that social media heat, apparently, or Halliburton's people got to him because that first 3 Halliburton hit, bang.
He said that, and I go, what?
Yeah, wait, first quarter?
And then he admitted to it, too.
Know,
like, Mike, you're better than that, bro. Don't admit to the angry mob.
Fabian Ardaya from The Athletic covers the Dodgers on the other side with more on this series. Plus, coming up at 5 p.m., we're going to hear from Kevin Acee, our Padres insider. We're getting you ready for game 1 of the series coming up at 6:40 tonight between the Padres and the Dodgers. Keep it here. It's Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This update's brought to you by Summit Racing Equipment. Padres Dodgers finally meet for the first time this year. 6:40 first pitch down at Petco Park. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres. Last night, the Thunder beat the Pacers, and they have now evened up the finals at 1 game apiece. Game 3 will be Wednesday night in Indy. This Father's Day, grab great gearhead gifts at Summer Racing. You'll find parts, tools, accessories, apparel, and more, or give the perfect card a Summit Racing gift card. Fast shipping, massive inventory, and expert tech advice are a click away at summitracing.com.
All right, coming up in 15 minutes, your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to see Dierks Bentley at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater June 19th. Pretty valuable giveaway. We'll give those away coming up in about 15 minutes during trivia. But if you missed it earlier, Fabian Ardaya does a really good job with The Athletic covering baseball, specifically covering the Dodgers. He wrote something earlier today with Dennis Lin in The Athletic. We started the conversation asking about all the Dodger pitching injuries and how they've been able to overcome it and stay above water.
Yeah, I think it's really the lineup at this point that's sort of keeping them afloat. And yeah, like they've kind of survived it. I mean, it's because they have that kind of offensive firepower, but obviously, like this is not pitching staff, including the bullpen, that I think anyone kind of anticipated going into the season. You knew there'd be some injury stuff, just considering some of the history of some of the guys involved, but to have this large of an injured list for the second year in a row, really, it's been a tough spot for the Dodgers to be in.
Yeah, to back to your point about this is not where they expected to be. What's the fan base in LA, their feelings on, the season so far? Because with the highest payroll in all of baseball and one of the highest payrolls you've ever seen in the sport and all the moves they made this offseason, I think the expectation going in probably was better than this, right?
Yeah, and I think there's also like a recognition of how good the division is. Mm-hmm. I used to had a little bit of that last year, obviously, with the Padres. You saw how competitive that series was, but the Giants are in the mix now. The Diamondbacks were expected to be in the mix. We'll see how much their own pitching injuries kind of sink them. But like, this is a competitive division, and it's a competitive National League. I think it's pretty clear far and away the National League is superior to the American League right now, and that's going to create a tougher hurdle for the Dodgers. Obviously, they're in a spot where all their top arms that they're kind of hoping are available for October are still technically in play for October. And as long as you have that, the Dodgers probably can hang their hat on that. But I'm sure they wanted this to not be as sweaty in early June as things already are. But that's kind of a byproduct just of how the Dodgers have played, but also how well the Padres and Giants have played so far this year.
Fabian Ardaya with us right now. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Padres Dodgers coming up at 6:40 from Petco. What kind of timeline is there for Otani to return to the pitcher's mound?
Yeah, he's not going to be back before the All-Star break. I think that's very intentional, very deliberate on purpose, like how the Dodgers kind of wanted to do this, because there's a lot of sort of risk that comes with bringing him back on the mound, including if something bad happens, then all of a sudden you're taking away his bat, and he's been cleared away just as good as he was last year during his MVP season. So they're kind of taking their time with it. You're seeing stuff even with this week where he was sort of scheduled to face hitters. Initially this weekend in St. Louis, they got pushed. They got pushed again yesterday to Tuesday because of different factors, whether it be the weather or he gets hit by a pitch. All this sort of stuff that you don't really have to normally worry about with a rehabbing pitcher, you have to worry about with Otani. So they're going to take their time there. I don't see him starting any game before the All-Star break, and we'll see whether it's August or wherever, just to give him maybe a roadmap of 8 to 10 starts to sort of figure out where he's at after a second surgery. But also, you don't want to risk having a setback or anything like that sort of impacts him offensively.
What did you make of last offseason after the Dodgers won the World Series, how complimentary they were of the Padres at every turn and any opportunity that Dodger players had to say how great the Padres were last year? What did you make of that and how they reacted and kept on saying like the Padres were the best team we faced all postseason? What did you make of that whole thing?
I think they were telling the truth, honestly. Like you saw, as you could tell by the NLCS, honestly, like just the Mets obviously had a great story last year. A good team, obviously, and they've run back with a pretty good team. But you could just see a difference in like the level of play between those two teams, and also especially with the Yankees series, where the Padres were built to push the Dodgers in every way imaginable. They had the lights out bullpen, they had the starting pitching, they had the stars in the lineup, and familiarity where there isn't a fear of the Dodgers when it comes to the Padres playing. I think that's pretty clear. I think it's been clear for a few years now. Like, there isn't a fear there. And you sort of saw how that series played out. And you saw after that series, people with the Dodgers were sort of saying, wow, like we got through that. If we can get through that, we can go all the way. And you heard that after they won the World Series, they're like, oh, I still can't believe we beat the Padres. And like that I think is a testament to how good that Padres team was, and sort of also the position that the Dodgers were going into Game 4 last year. Like, they were dead in the water going into that game, and that's a huge sliding door moment for both franchises. I think if that game goes a little bit differently.
That is really well said. Fabian Ardaya with us right now, covers the Dodgers for The Athletic. Of course, the Padres turned to Dylan Cease on short rest. They didn't go bullpen day. Joe Musgrove was out based on that Atlanta series, and the Padres didn't score for the last 24 innings of the series. How do you see it as you start a new season in terms of a season series? Like, does some of this storyline continue for you where it left off in 2024? Some of the bad blood, what Dave Roberts had to say about Manny Machado, that back and forth, the situation that played out with Jurickson Profar throughout the course of the year. I know he's no longer here. Like, is this a completely blank slate, or does the story continue from a year ago?
I think it's inevitable, because it's not just last year's story. I think it's been 5 years now where, I mean, they played the playoffs 3 times in the last 5 years, and it's been pretty competitive just about every single time. There's going to be a history there. Also, just because you're baking in, like, this is a division race. Like, these games really matter. And you're looking at the Dodgers team, it's barely played teams in the division this year. It's been really weird with balanced schedule. They've had 3 against the Rockies. I think it was 4 against Arizona, and that's about it. So, yeah, they're going to feel a huge stretch here, especially against the Padres, where they play each other 7 times in the next couple of weeks. There's going to be a lot of big, important battles that are going to sort of dictate what the second half looks like for each team. I think both teams can sort of feel like they're definitely firmly in the postseason mix, but we saw last year how much home field advantage, winning the division, getting to avoid the wild card series can sort of have for guys like that.
We know him well here in San Diego, Tanner Scott. He's now with the Dodgers, but he's struggled with the Dodgers this year. What is attributed to his struggles this year so far in LA?
Yeah, I think it's hard, like kind of counterintuitive. Like, he's throwing too many strikes, it seems like. He has been too much in the zone with his stuff, and it's getting hit. And it's supposed to, like, maybe being like sort of the guy he was with the Padres, where he was kind of living on the edges of the zone with elite stuff, guys with swing and miss. The stuff is still really strong. Like, maybe it's a slight takedown from where it was last October, just naturally because it was October. But he is missing over the middle of the plate. He's not really putting guys away. It's a lot of 2-strike counts where he can't quite put guys away. And you've seen a little bit of the last couple outings where he started to figure it out a little bit more. They made a tweak with his delivery. He was kind of flying open a little bit. It's hard for him to command the baseball where he wanted to. He was throwing strikes, but not the types of strikes that he wanted. And yeah, it's the position where I don't think that if the Dodgers weren't in the position that they were in, where like pretty much the entire bullpen was on the injured list, and they were really relying on Tanner Scott to close out every tight game they had, if they were in this different situation, they probably wouldn't be as magnified as they are right now. But now I think we're in a position where he's looked better the last couple. Michael Kopech and Kirby Yates are back, and I think the Dodgers probably feel overall a lot better about their bullpen now than they did even a week ago.
Fabian, tell me if this is kind of off base or not, or crazy, but is Shohei Otani having a better offensive season than he did a year ago?
He's off to a better start than he was last year. I think you can say that for sure, because especially on the power front, I mean, he is off to the best power start of his entire career. And you're just seeing, like, this is a guy who obviously won multiple MVPs in an Angels uniform, and what he did was spectacular. But as someone who saw him in 21 with the Angels, seeing him last year and the evolution he had over the course of the year, he just is such a dialed-in hitter at this point, where he will have stretches where he's prone to chase or whatever. But usually, if you throw a pitch in his zone, he will destroy it, and he is not going to be someone that you can get to chase quite as much as in the past. And he's probably as dangerous of a hitter as he's ever been at this stage of his career, because you just kind of know that anything that you throw that's close to his zone is going to get out of the ballpark or be hit really hard somewhere. And obviously, we saw last year how much his legs kind of enhance his offensive profile. You saw that over the start of the season. He's run a little bit less as his pitching development has kind of progressed, but it's still something that's part of his game that you have to keep in mind.
So we're in San Diego. Not a lot of Dodger fans listen to San Diego radio, or maybe they do. I don't know. But I couldn't help but notice on your X profile that you're in San Diego, and I think that's the visiting dugout with an SD behind you. Do Dodger fans ever give you slack or flack for having your profile picture be in San Diego?
They do not. I do love being in San Diego. It's a great ballpark, and nice visiting dugout, and yeah, I like Petco Park, but no, I haven't heard anything yet. So
well, we do appreciate that picture. Yeah, we appreciate that picture, and it's a good picture, by the way. So it's glad that it's your profile picture.
Are you? And by the way, Fabian, are you celebrating your birthday today?
Oh, yeah, I celebrate my birthday today. Yeah,
it is your okay. Oh. Yeah, we saw it on social media. So, well, happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Enjoy it in San Diego.
Thank you.
Hopefully, it's a great 3-game series here between the Padres and the Dodgers, and we appreciate you taking time for us.
Of course, anytime, guys.
Do we have Max Muncy sound?
We have some Max Muncy sound that we will be listening to here, either on the other side. Actually, no.
We got trivia, then we got Kevin.
5:15. 5:15. We have some very, very interesting sound from Max Muncy regarding the Padres, or indirectly talking about the Padres without mentioning them.
Okay. Looking forward to that. You'll hear that coming up in about 30 minutes. But call right now if you want. Listen to this, a free 4-pack of tickets to see Dierks Bentley at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater June 19th. That's right. A free 4-pack of tickets to see Dierks Bentley. First 2 callers will be contestants for trivia. All you need to do is call 877-767-4760. That's an amazing giveaway. 4 tickets to see Dierks Bentley at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. That's hundreds of dollars of value. All you need to do is call right now, 877-767-4760. We've got a free 4-pack of tickets to see Dierks Bentley at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater June 19th. Call right now, 877-767-4760, plus Kevin Acey at 5 p.m. right here on Jon and Jim. All right, who wants to play Herschel? Caller 2 just dropped off. If you want to play Herschel for a chance to win, listen to this. We have a free 4-pack of tickets to see Dierks Bentley on June 19th, 10 days from now, at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. If you want those tickets, a 4-pack of tickets, a free 4-pack of tickets, all you need to do is call right now, 877-767-4760. Call right now. We've got a free 4-pack of tickets. All you need to do is call 877-767-4760. This is to see Dierks Bentley at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, June 19th. The next caller will play Herschel for a chance to win that free 4-pack of tickets to see Dierks Bentley. Just call right now, 877-767-4760.
And by the way, the question for today, I have a feeling it's going to be a good one.
Really?
Yeah, Brent gave us a little hint, and I was like, ooh, I kind of like this one.
Well, we got Padres Dodgers kicking off their season series tonight down at Petco.
It's, it's just another game. Like, yeah, it in the grand scheme of things, like I said at the start of the show, you don't play well in these 7 games that you're going to face the Dodgers here in the next 10 games. Like, it's not the end of the world. And frankly, even if the Padres do play well against the Padres, or Padres play well against the Dodgers, not the Padres against Padres.
Split squad.
Yeah, exactly. The Padres do play well against the Dodgers, and say in the next 7 games they go 5-2 against the Dodgers.
Right.
Even then, that won't matter, because at the end of the day, and we've talked about this a lot, it's what they do against the Dodgers in the postseason if they were to face them again.
All that matters.
It's all that matters.
Yeah.
We know that. So this is obviously a big series from a fan's perspective, and I understand where Schildt's coming from, because you got to go day by day on June 9th. You can't make a baseball game on June 9th be like
more than it is.
Yeah, exactly. So it is just that. It will be heightened because it is Padres Dodgers, and it will be heightened because of these fan bases, the hatred for the Padres fans towards Dodger fans. And I can't wait. I'm excited. It's going to be fun.
Kevin Acee will join us coming up at 5 p.m. We'll hear from Max Muncy on this series at 5:15. But right now, let's play.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's 2 contestants, we have Herschel and we have Robert. Herschel, you called in first, so you have your choice of Jon or Jim. Who do you want to go with?
Jim.
Wow, very confident.
Okay,
there.
Herschel and Jim.
Herschel and Jim. That means Robert, you get Jon. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're happy with that. Brent, what is the question of the day?
I don't know if you mentioned it, but the Padres and the Dodgers play tonight.
What?
Today's
Cool.
question, can you name the 6 Dodger hitters that have struck out the most times this year? So we're looking for the 6 Dodgers with the most strikeouts this year, batting wise, not
Now,
like throwing them.
Is this just like for Dodger hitters or all of baseball?
Just Dodgers.
Just Dodgers.
Okay. This, all Dodgers.
Just all Dodger hitters that have struck out the most times on their team this year.
Okay.
I like this question. I like this question a lot. Robert, you're up first. What is your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
I'll go with Max Muncy.
Max Troll Face Muncy.
On the list.
Of course he's on the list. Herschel, you're up. What is your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
I'm going to go with Kershaw.
No, most strikeouts
players,
by position players.
Yeah, position players.
So the guys that have struck out the most.
Yeah. Name a Dodger player. You have a lifeline too if you want to use it.
Yeah, let's take lifeline.
Okay, lifeline. He's been awful for them this year. Big signing, or not a big signing, but he signed with them in the offseason. I'll go with Michael Conforto. Do you take that?
I'll take it.
Michael
Look at
Conforto
you, Jim.
on the list. He's not been good for the. Now watch, he's going to have 3 home runs this series. Good job, Jim.
Tonight.
Robert, you're up next. What is your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
I'll go with Kike Hernandez.
Kike Hernandez. No. Not on the list. Probably not played enough.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Herschel, back to you. What's your second guess? You don't have a lifeline, so this is all up to you.
Maybe I don't know baseball as well, so let's go with I don't know, Max Muncy.
Max Muncy was already
guessed.
said. Can you name another Dodger player? Pretty big names that might.
No,
Jim.
I'm
just saying.
I'm playing this under protest.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Actually, I think you'll be fine. But Herschel,
5 seconds.
You got a guess?
Edmund?
Edmund.
Oh, Tommy Edmund, the San Diego.
Edmund. No, not on the list. Robert, back to you. What is your final guess?
You got a lifeline.
You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
I'll go with Will Smith.
Will Smith. No.
Oh my God.
Herschel could somehow win this right here with the correct answer, except he does not have a lifeline. So this is all up to you, Herschel. Give me a Dodger player that has struck out the most this season. Come on, Herschel. You can do this.
All right.
5 seconds.
What the? Outman?
Outman.
I think that's his name.
James Outman. No.
We have to go to overtime now.
Guys, I promise you Shohei Otani's on this list.
Yeah, anybody think of Shohei Otani?
Come on. It's okay.
Oh, boy.
It's okay.
All right, so now we have to go to overtime. So help us, God. And we will then ask the question to them, and Brent will give us the rules of that right now.
All right, guys, how overtime is going to work. I'm going to ask you another question. When I'm done asking the question, you're going to yell out the name of your partner today, either John or Jim. Don't yell out your name. Whoever yells out the name of their partner today first, you are either going to win the game by getting the question right, or you're going to lose the game by getting the question wrong. Do you guys understand?
Yes.
All right, guys, today's overtime question. Where is tonight's Padres-Dodgers game?
John.
I heard John.
All right, what do we got, Robert?
What?
San Diego.
That is correct. The Padres and Dodgers square off in the city of San Diego tonight. Well, it was tough. That
could they have said Petco Park as well?
Petco would have counted.
So you give them 2 outs.
Well, it is in San Diego tonight. A very tough tiebreaker.
Ballpark.
That's true.
I mean, we weren't going to be like, hey, can you name like someone with a sub 700 OPS?
Here's the thing. I feel like that question. I'm not.
Dude, you tried cheating the system by telling Herschel, hey, there's some big names out there. I thought that was a dead giveaway for Otani, Freeman.
That was. I'm sorry.
Who's on this list?
Sorry. Well, Herschel won. So.
Shohei's number 1. He struck out 73 times.
Sorry, my bad.
Then Max Muncy, then Conforto, Teoscar Hernandez. I can never say this dude's last name right. He's the Shea of baseball.
Pages.
Yes.
Yeah.
Andy Pages, he's got 47, and then Freddie Freeman has 46.
All right.
Hopefully those numbers go up tonight.
Yeah, hopefully those strikeout numbers go up tonight. It's a good point. Hopefully they have more than 0 strikeouts tonight.
I want to see a 4 number added to each one of those players tonight.
That'd be ridiculous.
That would be kind of crazy.
All right, Robert, congratulations. You've got a 4-pack of tickets to see Dierks Bentley at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. This will be June 19th in 10 days. For tickets and information, all you need to do is go to Ticketmaster.com if you're listening. There are tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. All right, Kevin Acee. He was on the road with the Padres through San Francisco and Milwaukee. Now they get the Dodgers here tonight. The updates on Darvish and King. The importance of this series, this mid-June series against the LA Dodgers, the first meeting between these two rivals in 2025.
Rivals.
Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, will join us on the other side to kick off hour 4 of Jon and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update's brought to you by Macy's Backstage. Padres, Dodgers, first time they're meeting this year. Start a 3-game series. Game 1 tonight at Petco Park. 6:40 first pitch. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres. The NBA Finals is all tied up at 1 game apiece as the Thunder beat the Pacers last night in Game 2. Game 3 of that series will be Wednesday night in Indy. What will you find at Macy's Backstage? How about essential warm weather styles? Just $30 and under, like dresses, shoes, and bags, men's, and even kids' looks. Find the latest trends, new arrivals, and great prices at a Macy's Backstage store near you.
All right, final hour, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We've been getting you ready all afternoon. Great to catch up as always with our Padres Insider. Padres Dodgers coming up at 6:40 for the first time in 2025 from down at Petco Park. Kevin, always appreciate you taking time. Jim just reminded me of this all-start here because we texted about this, I think, late last week. If you were Jim and could turn around the fortunes of one Padre player, who would you tweet about? Because Jim sends out a tweet like Manny's going through it, yikes, and he hits 7 home runs in 16 games.
Martin Maldonado.
Right. If there's a player you could tweet about and say, man, this guy's really going through it, and then change that player's fortunes, who would you tweet about and why?
And my purpose is, is if I was a fan or I was AJ Preller, my purpose is to get that guy going.
Get that guy going. And this is nothing on you. This has nothing to do with you.
It's got to be Tatis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't worry, Kevin.
Because I'm just going to scream from the mountaintops that, yes, left field, problem. Yes, the catcher's offensively, problem. But if Fernando Tatis Jr. and Luis Arraez at the top of the order were not having what for them are historically bad starts to a season, then this would it'd be different.
Well, don't worry, Kevin. The tweets and the drafts, okay? So
Jim said, hold on, let me explain. Let me just say this, Kevin, that Jim said if Tatis starts 0 for 2 tonight, he will send out a tweet. He will call out Tatis if he starts 0 for 2, because that's just adding up the last 30 plus games plus a slow start.
Because you got to be careful because, like me or you or anyone else suggesting to Jim this could mess with his superpowers. It has to be organic, in my opinion.
I know. That's why I'm kind of I'm just waiting for either a moment, hopefully he turns it around. I'll have to do this. But I was also thinking too, Kevin gets the off day on Saturday. The Dodgers now 7 of the next 10 games. Historically, he's been great against the Dodgers. It's almost like if not now, when type of feeling with Tatis. Don't you feel that?
Yes, I do. I like the gist of your statement. I do kind of like it's June. That's big for him. NL West and especially the Dodgers, big for him. There's just no way in this game to tell if not now when. But yes, absolutely. It's but here's the thing. Have you seen any sign that he's about to come out of it? Because you think there are, right? Hard hits or whatever the drives that he had in San Francisco, and then rolls over on some balls or strikes out or whatever. And it's just a weird long slump for Tatis.
No doubt. Kevin Acee is our Padres Insider, back with us on Jon and Jim. How would you describe the stakes of this 3-game series here in June between the Padres and the Dodgers?
Slightly more important than Mike Shildt as, very purposefully. I don't know if you guys watched.
Yeah, we heard. Yep.
And look, I've obviously talked to him almost every day, and none of that surprises me. But man, he really was coming out to be the tough guy today, wasn't he? About that. It's just. Now, I will say this. That's how he operates. That's how his staff operates. And I think this team approaches big series, big to the rest of us, better than they ever have in the past. So I will give him that is a real thing.
Absolutely. And we all know here, if they don't play well against the Dodgers in these 7 games in the next 10 games, it's they still have time. It's not just like an end all be all to their season. Now fans will freak out they don't play well, and we'll hear it and we'll overreact. But he's right. The message is yeah, the level here, the fan interest, and obviously with everything that happened in the postseason last year, like it's heightened, but it's not going to make or break our season here.
Yeah, it should be exciting to us all because of everything you just mentioned, and then we should, which we won't. Well, I'll try, but like keep it in perspective. I will say this, like I'll mention if they don't do well that like another good team. By the way, a good team that is, have you seen the pitchers they're facing? Like, I mean, so it's not like you got Glass now and healthy Glass now, healthy Snell and Yamamoto going this weekend, like the Padres or this week, like the Padres have, theoretically, Dylan Cease, one of their best pitchers, Nick Pivetta, one of their best. And so I will say this, like, what's the record against good teams? I'm a big what's your record against bad teams guy, because that's what good teams do is beat bad teams. But the fact is, it might be good at some point to show that you can beat good teams.
Absolutely. Kevin Acey's with us right now on Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. What do you make of the way they are answering questions related to Michael King? Is it just a big question mark even internally with the organization? Because it seems like an odd situation that's playing out.
Yeah, and I think the bottom line is then that he's not close, right? Like that's the bottom line. And then I do think that there is some, like I don't think it's like this this facade or they're trying to throw us off. I do think there's some unknowns here, and I base that on I try to talk to people from all sides, and then I also try to talk to outside experts, and it's like all of this is plausible. That is a deadened nerve and. One thing they could be, and I don't want to say like hiding, but one thing they could be not addressing is they could be aware of or more aware of a timeline than we're being let to know, right? Like the outside edge on these are like late season. I mean, if it's like a deadened nerve or something, take a look at some of the other guys who've had them, and it can last for a long time. And he's a pitcher. So like, maybe they know a little bit more. I would say they probably know a little bit more. Maybe they know more than they're saying, but I do think there is like a kind of a wait and see on this one. But the bottom line is that we all, don't have to read into everything. Look, this guy's not close.
Can you find out what bed he slept on so I know to never, ever sleep on that bed in my entire life?
If you're going to be called on to pitch, I gotta think, and I assume this is something that we'll find out in hindsight. I gotta think that there was something there, and then he slept on it. Now everyone swears that like there hadn't been anything that manifested that he had a good bullpen, that he woke up Saturday in Atlanta that day expecting to pitch. So it's not like they were hiding something. And I absolutely believe that. But like just sleeping, I don't think so. But again, I've talked to two other doctors that said, yeah, it's possible. It's like, wow, this is crazy. But you hear all these, every once in a while, there's these wild baseball injuries that sideline a guy.
So doing a little a deeper dive on this, Kevin, we talked about this earlier today. So we looked back at that day when they announced that he was scratched from his start. It was, I believe, 12:30 local time here in San Diego with a 1:10 first pitch. You were obviously there. Do you remember him? And I don't know like his schedule and how he goes about on his days that he pitches, but did he throw at all before he got officially scratched?
No.
Okay.
He woke up and told them about it, and then the timeline was like 3 hours before or something. They told Sean Reynolds and kind of talked to the bullpen guys that maybe that was going to happen.
Okay.
While he went and threw like plyo balls, Michael King did, and tried to see if he could loosen it up, got treatment and all that. And then an hour and a half or something like that beforehand is when they knew that he wasn't going to be able to go.
That's good insight.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
All right, Kevin Acey with us right now, and Jon and Jim. What about Darvish? So he throws the bullpen today, right?
Up and down bullpen.
Yeah. So an up and down for our listeners. What is that? He threw some pitches, took some time, and then threw some additional pitches as if he was pitching over multiple innings. And do we know how it went?
There you go. Don't know how it went, but he did the full thing. I saw that. And that is theoretically another step. And it could be like normally would be a significant step. And when I say normally, let's say that Darvish had just gone on the IL, right? Like 20 days ago or something, and be like, wow, this is a big step. because next is, live hitters here, maybe on like Wednesday or something, or Thursday or Friday in Arizona, and then could be a rehab start, and we could be talking about him being back after that. That would be like the normal, but this is abnormal, right? Like where we're at with Darvish. So I honest to goodness, and I don't know that they do have any idea what the next step is. It another one of these, and then another one? Is it live hitters over the weekend? I mean, don't have any idea. But if you're just going to take it, it is a positive step. It's definitely not a step back.
So ending this here on a positive here, Kevin, once again, as Manny goes, the team goes. Like, it works like clockwork. He has been fantastic in the last 16 games. I believe they're 10-6 over that span. Another late inning home run the other day. It's a healthy Manny Machado, a Manny Machado that's hitting home runs and making it count. It's not just hitting home runs and empty stats. Like, these stats are like really counting here. I mean, it's just he is playing at a level that everyone loves to see.
Is it 7 and 16?
Yep.
Because I think it's 4 go ahead, 1 game tying.
That's crazy.
Incredible.
Was it 5 in the 7th inning or later? Yeah, I mean, like it's like, wow, those are impactful. I mean, a couple more of them could have been game winners if they hadn't lost the leads, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And so like he is, yes, that is what you get paid $350 million for.
Exactly.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that's why Jim gets paid the big bucks. He noticed,
tweet.
He noticed how good Manny Machado. Yeah, Jim basically turned his season around. Maybe his career.
It's incredible. I really don't know. I mean, this happened like at least 3 times now in the last 5 years, Kevin, where I said something and then he immediately gets hot. It's like, I mean, don't blame the Jumbotron guy.
I am not going to pour water on that at all. I think it's great. I think you should believe it. I think Padres fans should believe it.
Yes.
I think they should just be like heckling you to do this.
Yes.
I think it's possible that you're forgetting all the tweets that you have sent out that have had no effect on anything. But I'm not going to get into that.
That's a good point.
We don't talk about that, Kevin.
Do you think, Kevin, tonight, in all seriousness, after the Manny comments maybe to you about AJ Preller, will they still have the Manny
Jumbotron
on the video board or the ribbon boards? Will Manny be plastered up there tonight or not?
That's a really, you know what? It's one of the, that's a really good question. It's, I wish I could have like a real baseline of when they don't do it all the time, but they do it in big moments. I think it will be noticeable, right? If we don't see it. So
yes.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Can we get 6,000 words on that?
Please. At least 3.
Sensitive about that. It's funny. Like I told you at the time, Manny said it offhanded. I don't think it was like, I don't think it's a big thing. AJ's a big joker. He is.
Right.
AJ's one of the funnier guys you're going to meet. And especially like in private, especially obviously, because obviously in public he's not really.
Yep.
But then they do get sensitive to that. The people that say maybe run things around here. So I'll be interested.
Kevin, always appreciate it. Enjoy tonight. We'll catch up again with you on Wednesday.
All right. Talk to you guys.
All right. Great stuff from Kevin ACR Padres Insider, brought to you by the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. We'll react, plus hear from Max Muncy on the other side.
Who?
Max Muncy.
Yeah, Max Muncy, I'm a troll.
Is that how he talks?
I don't know.
We'll hear from Max Muncy on the other side. We're here until 6 p.m. Stay with us, Jon and Jim. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. iHeartRadio Music Festival is back. You can win your way in before you can buy tickets. Live performances by Maroon 5, The Offspring, Tim McGraw, and more. September 19th and 20th, T-Mobile in Vegas, 2 nights, 1 stage. Listen to win tickets before you can buy them. 9 a.m., 1 p.m., 5 p.m., including airfare and hotel in Vegas, plus $1,000. Our exclusive Capital One cardholder presale starts Wednesday at 10 a.m. All right, so Kevin kind of agrees with us, which is the Michael King thing. You know, maybe it's not
odd.
Fully the way it played out, that he just went to sleep one night feeling perfect and the next day he didn't feel well. Like, that seems a little too far-fetched for me. I don't know if Kevin feels exactly that same way or not. But he also said worst case scenario, like look it up, like look up guys dealing with nerve issues, and it can be a really long prognosis. So hopefully that's not the case with Michael King. What's the deal here with Max Muncy? Was this from today?
This is from the Friar Territory podcast
with Kyle Glaser.
Not the Friar Territory, Foul Territory. Sorry.
Okay, with Ken Rosenthal.
I don't think it was Ken. I think it was just like maybe an episode, or I don't know. But it was posted 42 minutes ago. And this is Max Muncy on rivalries for the Dodgers.
The Padres bring everything that is in a rivalry, but you only have one rival. I don't like when people say you have rivals. I just think if you have a rival, it's your counterpart, and that's always going to be the Giants for the Dodgers, at least, and it's always going to be the Red Sox for the Yankees. People always made the argument that the Astros and Yankees had a good rivalry going, and it's like, that's true, but you only have one rival. And so for me, like I said, the Padres bring everything that a rivalry brings. For me, your rival is just one team. You don't have multiple teams as your rival.
It's not that hot of a take.
But I can make it a hot take.
How are you going to make it a hot take? Because I can too.
You go first.
Well, I would say that the number one rivalry in U.S. sport is Michigan-Ohio State. I think it's right there with like Yankees-Red Sox, right? Mm-hmm. Michigan has Michigan State.
Mm-hmm. Multiple rivals. Yeah.
I would have to say that that Michigan considers Michigan State a rival. Now, it's not Ohio State. So I would say there's just different levels of rivals. But to say that you can't be rivals with the Padres just because the Giants, to me, is like, well, things can change. And it's it's not with a lack of respect to the Giants. I get it. Giants have had a significant history. The Dodgers-Giants dynamic goes back to New York City. Mm-hmm. Okay, this doesn't. But the last 5 years of this, we've watched it play out in front of us. It's been a really, really good series.
Yeah, like football, make a good point. Like, who are USC's rivals?
Right, you got Notre Dame and UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Like, you can have multiple rivals. It's okay, Max Muncy. I know the history of baseball is like very protected, but things can change. All right. And right now, in this iteration of Padres Dodgers, it's a bigger rivalry than Giants Dodgers, in my opinion. I do agree. If you were to say over like the history of the sport,
of course,
Giants Dodgers is not even close to Padres Dodgers.
I would agree.
But in the last 5 years, it's really hard to argue that Padres Dodgers is less of a rivalry right now than Giants Dodgers, because the Padres have faced the Dodgers 3 times in the postseason in the last 5 years. Now the Dodgers have faced the Giants 1 time in the postseason
ever.
And that was in 2021 when both teams won 100 plus games. Dodgers won 107. I think Giants won 108.
Yeah, I think that's right.
It was a crazy year for both those teams. And they played in the division round, a 5-game series, which was crazy.
Yep.
But I would say for sure over the last 4 years, it's not even close. It's Dodgers Padres.
Brian, what do you got?
He's right to a certain extent, to where I get to where every team has like their main rival.
Sure.
But, I was going to say pretty much the same thing you said, John, only with different schools. Sure, North Carolina and Duke are the main rivalry, but you can't tell me that North Carolina and NC State aren't rivals.
Yeah, it's a huge rivalry. Yeah, no, it's a good point. I mean, listen, and I would say like in the NFC East, the Cowboys have a lot of rivals. I think the Cowboys traditionally against the Eagles has been a rivalry. I think against the Giants has been a rivalry. So they all take on their own different life forms.
What would you say is bigger? Now, I'm not, Aaron would probably know, but like Eagles, their number one rival is the Cowboys.
Correct.
Now the Cowboys, their number one rival. You could argue Giants. You could argue Philly.
I'd say Giants.
I would say Giants too.
Yeah. But the dynamics at play that are interesting. And the one thing I disagree with on Muncie is like, it'll never change. The Dodgers' rival will always be the Giants. Well, things do change.
Things change, dude.
Again, they'll always be paired with each other. You can't take away Cubs Cardinals, but that doesn't mean Cubs White Sox doesn't matter, because it does. It can. It's not Cubs Cardinals, but it does matter. Yankees Mets matters. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, Yankees Mets matters. It might not be Yankees Red Sox. So there's a pecking order in there, but to discount the other series because it's not the Giants Dodgers, to me, is probably a disservice. These Padres Dodgers dynamics and series and playoff games and everything have been amazing.
And
amazing.
It's okay to say they're a rival of us. They're
it's fine.
One of our rivals. You know, the bad blood, it's there. The back and forth, it's there. The hatred, it's there. And it only became a rivalry once the Padres won in 2022, because now both sides have beaten each other in a postseason that actually mattered.
Right.
Now, 2020, okay. But 2022, last year,
if they meet again,
I know.
If they meet again in 2025,
which there's a good chance because of how the postseason works. Yeah. 4
times in 6 years is an unbelievable amount of times to match up with someone in the postseason.
And that's why I'm glad that they're finally playing each other in the regular season, but it only matters what they do against each other in the postseason. Tell me, like, you would not care if you're a Padres fan if the Padres swept the Dodgers in the regular season, but then got swept by them in the postseason. It wouldn't matter.
That's my 2020's point. It's so much less about the division and the regular season series as it is doing damage in the postseason against that team. Yeah. That's why 2022 was so sweet to do it against the Dodgers, and that's why 2024 was so damning to lose against the Dodgers. By the way, Dennis Lin today in The Athletic saying, this continues to feel like the number one rivalry in the sport.
Yeah, it is.
So that's like a here and now thing, and it'll change. It's not forever.
No.
And it doesn't take away from Dodgers Giants. It really doesn't. You're never going to take that away. But I'm just saying, in the here and now, this is too good to be ignored.
And what they're doing is both teams, they're doing their parts. Because they're both winning, on the big stage against each other. It's not just one-sided. They are laying the groundwork for the next however many years, when all these players are gone, right? They are laying the groundwork to have this rivalry really stick, because before, 2020, nothing was there.
It was all one-sided.
Yeah. And that park down at Petco Park was filled with Dodger
fans. I know.
Now it's flipped. It's not 100%, but it's
it's flipped a lot.
It's like 70-30 at the worst.
And then the postseason, we saw some of those crazy nights where it was 99% Padre fans,
right? Which
is incredible.
So they are definitely, both teams are doing their part, especially the Padres, to create this rivalry. And also, too, what makes it become a true rivalry is you need to have most of the same players on both sides play against each other for multiple years. It can't be like a revolving door of players. And that's what's cool, is like Manny is going to face the Dodgers how many more years?
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Tatis, Merrill, like Otani, like all these guys are going to play against each other for a long time.
Yeah, and I don't hear Manny coming out and saying, no, our only rival's the Mariners. we wouldn't even consider the
rivals.
Dodgers.
Yeah. That Vetter Cup actually, though, is not turning into that much of a rivalry. It's very one-sided.
It's all one-sided right now. 858 saying, by the way, Dodgers played the Angels during rivalry week. Yeah, rivalry week was a joke, obviously. But the point is the point. I think you can have more than one rival. All right. What do you think? 877-767-4760 or weigh in on the text line 70470. Start it with the word team. Jim's back page is ahead. Getting you ready for Padres and Dodgers tonight down at Petco. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update is brought to you by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Padres Dodgers get underway tonight. 3-game series. 6:40 first pitch. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres against Dustin May for the Dodgers. And the NBA Finals is all tied up at 1 game apiece as the Thunder beat the Pacers last night in Game 2. Game 3 will be Wednesday night in Indy. Rebate funds are running out fast. Don't get left behind at Anderson Plumbing. They're buying back your old water heater and giving you $500 in instant savings. Call Anderson PHA today. Nobody wows clients like they do.
All right, give us a couple of minutes. We'll hear from Dave Roberts, who comments on what tonight's going to be like down at Petco Park, the first of 13 in the regular season between the Padres and the Dodgers, the first of 7 over the next 10 games for both of these teams as well.
Do you think Dave Roberts is downplaying this series and saying it's just another day like Mike Shildt did and is very short with the media, as Kevin alluded to?
I don't. The reason I say I don't know is because he was quoted yesterday as kind of downplaying it. As
Who, Dave Roberts?
Yeah, saying like it's probably a bigger deal for them than it is for us.
No,
I think he said that yesterday.
Oh, the classic. They're more concerned about it than we are.
Yeah, like right. I mean, I think he used it as motivation to be like, our team will get up for it because they'll be up for it, right? And their building will be up for it, so we'll get up for it. But I don't think he's putting high stakes on it.
Well, you know what truly makes a rivalry go, John?
What's that?
It's the fan bases.
Yep.
And Petco Park will be electric tonight. It will feel like a playoff-like atmosphere. And that's because of the fans. 100%. Without the fans, we've seen what it looks like. 2020, that was awful. With the fans, them being the way they are, with the hatred back and forth for both sides, that creates this now rivalry between the both teams. And also too, don't get me wrong, it's not just the fans. The players do have a part in this because of, what happened last year, what happened in 2022, what's happened over the course of the last 5 seasons, the sinister sling and everything that happened last year's postseason. Like the teams and the players do have a part in this for sure. There's probably not much like love between both teams.
No, I mean, Manny is the perfect example. He is such a lightning rod his whole career, and he played with the Dodgers. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. He was traded there, played in his only World Series there, later said, we'll win a World Series before you do. I mean, Manny's a pretty polarizing figure in this conversation. Remember, Dave Roberts said that him and Manny have a good relationship. What he said about Manny last year was to motivate his team. It was not personal. That's what Dave Roberts said afterwards. He said, I've got a good relationship with Manny Machado. What I did is what I thought would get my team to win. Okay. I don't know how true that is or not. If Manny and Dave Roberts do spend time together in the offseason, it would surprise me. They spend the offseason within 30 miles of each other.
Yeah.
But it would surprise me if they spend time together.
Like, hey, Dave, you want to go get some
that would surprise me.
Go get some food?
Especially after last year.
Go play some golf?
Do they really talk in any capacity after that?
I don't know. Maybe. I know that if it were me, I couldn't do that.
No, I'd be done.
I would be like, you used me through little Ken
media.
Rosenthal
right,
to start a narrative that was not there, and you used that because we were kicking your ass.
It was so ridiculous because remember there was no video, and then there was video, and he threw a ball to the third base dugout.
If it were roles reversed,
I'd be okay with Mike Schildt using it to his advantage.
And if it worked, then I would be even more okay with it.
Yeah, definitely. And I could be like, oh man, Padres beat the Dodgers, but they had to do it by disparaging Freddie Freeman. I would have been cool with it.
I've been totally fine with that.
I mean, it's all about winning.
It is. It's anything you can do to get a competitive advantage, you do it if it's within the rules. And I remember was it in game 3? Yeah, it was in game 3 because that was the last game they won. When Manny had that slide at second base. And it was kind of outside I don't know. I don't fully remember, but it wasn't a slide. I think he got in the way of a ball. And Freddie Freeman after the game said, I would have done the same thing.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. Yep.
So it's, all's fair in love and war, but this is not love or war, but still.
Right, but no, the analogy is a good one. All right, let's hear from Dave Roberts. I'm not exactly sure where it starts, but here's about 2.5 minutes with Dave Roberts with the media pregame.
Been an intense series, a lot of crazy ball games, intense competition. I know these guys have been waiting to get a crack at us, and we're looking to play these guys as well.
Can a series like this provide somewhat of a mid-season spark per se?
I think so. If you look back to the last couple weeks playing the Yankees, the Mets, a couple times, obviously that kind of infused some energy, emotion into our club. And then obviously playing these guys within the division, it's going to do the same thing. So again, it probably will feel like a playoff game tonight.
There are obviously a lot of emotions in that series last year. How much do those things kind of linger going into like something like this in a new year in the middle of June? Like, still feel some of that?
I don't know. I thought last year ended pretty well for us. I think that we feel good about it, but we've all turned the page on that and know that, this is a team that's really hungry. They're really, it's a really talented ball club. They're going to fight to the end against us. They've been waiting for this series for redemption. So, but like I said yesterday, it's still one game, it's still one series, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
How much do you think it's like the cores? A lot of these teams have been the same the last 3 or 4 years. You guys have met the playoffs a lot. Like, how much does that just kind of add to like what's always been, an inter-division matchup? But does it kind of give it a different feel, especially in another year where you guys are both competing for the division?
I think so. Yeah, I think the familiarity of the core from both sides, for the most part, remaining intact adds to the flavor, the history. And I think the familiarity, I think that the fans certainly can relate to the same players, playing against one another. The players can kind of look across the diamond and see familiar faces that have kind of been through this, this rivalry or whatever you want to call it. So I certainly think that it adds to the flavor of the series. Yeah.
Do you consider it like a rivalry?
I think it's become a rivalry because the stakes have been higher, which we've seen in the last few years.
The streak's been on so long with not seeing San Diego down 7 of the next 10 games against them.
Yeah, it's the scheduling, and thank goodness I don't have to deal with it. But it's really interesting how it's playing out as such. But we're going to get very familiar with these guys here the next week.
So he didn't initially call them rivals, but when pressed on it, was willing to say because of how good the series have been.
They are so protective of like the word rivalry. Like, guys, it's a rivalry. Stop.
You know what? It's like when you're in their shoes, it's kind of annoying. I agree with you. It's like, well, we're the mighty Dodgers.
Yeah, we're
so we determine what a rival is. We just won the World Series. We've got the largest payroll. We win the division. Like, we'll make the determination of what a rival is. Where I'm like, I don't know. It takes two to tango here. I know Dodger fans are gonna be watching this as much as Padres fans tonight. By the way, it's not like there's like, oh, it's just the lowly Padres. No, if you're a Dodger fan and you've watched this play out, you understand that this is elevated beyond taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm sorry, it is.
And you know how we know? Because tonight, if the Dodgers beat the Padres in our YouTube chat on the wrap-up show, there's going to be hundreds of troll Dodger fans watching us.
Correct.
And they'll be talking all their talk. And guess what? Even if the Dodgers lose tonight, they'll still be in the chat and they'll still be, trolling. It's like the meme that I always refer to with the Dodgers of the
urinal,
of the Padre fan at the far urinal. And there's like 15 urinals there for open. And the Dodger fan walks over and stands right next to the Padres fan. It's like, bro, I wasn't even, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that is Dodger fans right now in a nutshell. They are so concerned about the Padres, but they don't want to admit it.
Well, here's the thing. There is no win tonight that can cancel out 2024. Fair.
There is not, no.
And there is no loss tonight that has any more that means anything near what happened in 2024. Season's not on the line. Nothing's on the line. Bragging rights are, though, and to your point, when we do our show tonight, no matter what happens, there'll be a lot of strong reaction tonight, no matter what happens.
Yep. And same thing in our YouTube chat, here on Jon and Jim. It's just Dodger fans, they can't help themselves. They think that they are the elite of the elite. When you break it all down, it's like, nah, you're really not. You're actually the most annoying fan base possible.
I mean, they finally, again, I get the puffing the chest element of 2024.
They won. Puff your chest.
That's the thing. It's like,
I get it.
And that's why I think I also understand the opposite side of that coin is nothing can happen over the next 10 days that has any relevancy to the 2024 postseason.
I know.
Like that. But with that being said, we're not that far away from the 2025 postseason, and the story changes. And I don't know how it's going to be written in 2025.
Don't get me wrong, though. A 10-1 win tonight by the Padres would feel very good.
Walk off. I mean, any win would feel good.
Any win would feel really good. It won't take away from last year. But how about we start small? And then then we go to bigger things like winning the game. But
it's small like 2 runs?
Like small is just a run because they have gone 24 consecutive scoreless innings against the Dodgers dating back to last postseason.
Well, let me promise you this. They're not beating the Dodgers tonight 1-0. Coming off a 1-0 winner from Milwaukee yesterday, they are not beating the Dodgers today 1-0. They need multiple runs today. Quote me on it.
I just did.
Quote me on it.
Well, you just quoted yourself.
Okay. I'll quote myself on it. I am excited. I'm with you. We'll have a wrap-up show for Padres fans tonight after game 1. Padres Dodgers 6:40 start time. Nick Pivetta, Dustin May down at Petco Park. Should be more than entertaining. All right. On the other side, we will get to Jim's back page. We're here until 6 p.m. Jim's back page is on the other side. We're getting you ready for Padres and Dodgers as well. Game 1 down there at Petco Park. Don't go anywhere. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, maxed out on credit cards or struggling with high interest debt. You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey guys, it is Schaefer. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto has been truly amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. A huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity, it's yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Call now to start the conversation. The number 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. That's 619-207-4336. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. NMLS consumeraccess.org. All right, now we're out. Padres, Dodgers, Petco Park, downtown San Diego. And so it begins again for these two rivals on the field tonight at Petco Park. Again, full reaction post-game tonight on the wrap-up show. You can find it on YouTube. Then full reaction tomorrow on Jon Jim, 2 to 6 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. By the way, AM radio keeps vital voices accessible. Congress can secure its future, but we need your help. Text AM to 52886 now to support keeping AM radio in cars. Tell your member of Congress to pass legislation now and keep AM radio in cars. Standard message and data rates apply. Will you and Aaron be watching tonight? Is this like sit around the fireplace and throw the game on?
Yes, we will 100% be watching. Yeah.
Now, is she typically also watching like Bravo or something else? Like Bravo TV, like Real Housewives?
Like on her phone?
Yeah, maybe. Or like an iPad or second screen.
We have one television in the
we
living
do
room.
too. But then again, don't you guys have YouTube TV or something? So whatever you're watching, she watches, and whatever she watches, you watch?
Well, Padres are not on YouTube TV. They're on MLDS.
Yeah, but they're on the TV, I mean.
Yeah, but we can't have dual
But
screens.
on YouTube TV, she can use her phone.
Yeah, she could, but she doesn't.
So she just sits there and watches whatever you watch?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't watch anything Kristen watches. I mean, I do, but like enough with the murder mysteries.
Well, here's the thing. Look at it this way. Recalibrate your mind like this. If she watches her shows, it gives you more time to look on your phone at cards.
To buy cards.
Yes.
That's smart.
Yes.
See, now you're thinking.
I know.
That's smart.
Yeah.
And tonight, when Aaron is watching the Padres, you can buy Pokemon cards in the corner.
Or when Aaron's watching the Padres, I'll be cooking dinner while the Padres are on.
Yeah, it's a good point. Well, you can tell Aaron to look at Pokemon cards for you. She probably won't do that.
She would not do that.
Yeah, it's one of those things that dynamic in a relationship. You're not really seeing eye to eye with your spouse necessarily. Like I get it. Kristen's not going to be like a hardcore card collector.
Right. No.
She doesn't fully get it. She's been supportive. But is she going to be supportive if I, find a card for like $59K?
Like if I go out and buy a $150 card,
right,
and then we have to go to like a doctor's appointment for
and you're like, I don't know,
like fertility or something, and the copay is like $100 or $80, and I'm like, can you pay that? I don't have any money. And then she finds out because I didn't have any money. You
spent $200
because I spent $200 on a card. That's a problem.
It's a slap on the wrist. Act now and ask for forgiveness later.
Or like, we go grocery shopping and I'm like, can you get this time? And I'm like, I'm a little low on money today, babe. And then she's like, okay, don't worry about it. And 2 days later, I get a card in the mail.
That's why you ship it here.
Don't worry.
All right.
I will.
Let's get to this. All right, what have we missed?
We'll start here. Chipotle, John, is introducing a bold new sauce for the first time in 5 years. Chipotle is adding a brand new sauce to its menu starting June 17th. Chipotle locations across the U.S. will offer adobo ranch sauce. According to the chain, the new sauce is described as a smoky and spicy twist on ranch. I'm in.
I like a good ranch. I don't know if I need a smoky, spicy ranch.
I don't know if I need one either, but I'll try it.
I'll try it with
the new sauce is made of adobo peppers, sour cream, and various herbs and spices.
Okay. I'll try it.
According to the president and chief brand officer of Chipotle.
I thought you were going to say of the United States.
No.
Why is the president chiming in on this sauce?
Yeah. Basically, they're Eric Grupner. Said Gen Z has contributed to making ranch, quote, a cultural phenomenon. I don't know about that one.
I don't know about that. Might be a stretch.
I mean, I'm not Gen Z. I'm millennial. I don't know if I've seen.
You're a millennial?
Yeah.
What am I?
We are Gen X, John.
Oh.
Yeah, you're losers.
That's hilarious.
But I don't know if Gen Z has contributed to like the ranch phenomenon, because I remember when I was a kid, a lot of people were eating ranch with their pizza. That was like a phenomenon.
Yeah, that was your guys' fault.
I know it was.
So Gen X ended in 1980 and yours started in 81. It's a joke. I'm Generation Beta, born 2025.
You are Generation
2039.
Beta.
I was like the Simpsons. They said we're the MTV generation. We experience neither highs nor lows. And Homer's like, "What's that like?" And they go, "Eh."
Exactly. That's great.
Did you know, John, that you can get the Oregon duck at your wedding for a small sum of $1,500?
$1,500 for the duck?
Are you listening, Jay Riff?
Yeah, Jay Riff, you listening, buddy?
Is he married? No. Perfect.
No.
Send that to him.
I know. So at his wedding, for 1 hour max, $1,500.
Yeah, but he doesn't travel, though. You can't bring him to like Pasadena, can you? Can you get him on a plane, or do you have to get married in Eugene?
Somebody in the comments said, "Can the duck officiate the wedding too?"
Wow, be like Quack.
That'd be funny if he just quacked for 20 minutes.
Quack.
Yeah. But anyway,
Who's the better officiant, me at your wedding or the duck?
Clearly the duck.
$1,500 for the duck.
$1,500 for the duck.
Dude, this is amazing how I'm trying to get revenue sharing.
I know.
You're trying to maximize that out with the duck.
It's really. Tomorrow, John, if you are an Amazon Prime member, you can get tickets for an early screening of Superman.
Yeah, I'm good.
I know you're good.
What does that mean? I'm a Prime member, so I can go to the movie theater before it's
in
available?
Select theaters for Amazon Prime members. I believe it's on July 8th. The movie doesn't come out until July 12th, I think, or July 11th.
11th, I think.
Yeah, so on July 8th, there's an early screening of Superman for Amazon Prime members. Tomorrow, tickets go on sale for Amazon Prime members.
Would you want to take advantage of that?
I would take advantage of that, absolutely.
Okay. Well, then go to Prime.
July 8th is a Tuesday. July 11th, the Friday is when it comes out. July 10th, you can see it early. But if you want to see it early, July 8th is for Amazon Prime members. I didn't know they were doing that. That's kind of weird.
Dude, they do everything. Amazon?
Well, I'm just saying I didn't know that you could, or there was an option for like an early screening. Because I thought like early meant the Thursday night when they have select showings, and then Friday is when the official release happens. But
now it's even earlier.
Right. That's weird. Interesting. It's a Crumble Cookie Monday.
Sure is.
Some of these Crumble cookies, by the way, that I'm going to tell you sound phenomenal.
Okay.
Like this is a really good week for Crumble cookies, guys.
I'm listening.
French toast cookie.
Ooh.
Dude, sign me up.
How do you do that? Yeah, that sounds good.
Peanut butter cup brownie featuring Reese's. It's a new cookie. Dirt cake cookie, which is a chocolate cookie, but I'll try that. Raspberry lemonade cookie. I love raspberry lemonade. Now, do I like it in a cookie?
It's a little sweet.
Sure, I'll try it. A churro cake. The classic milk chocolate chip cookie.
Okay.
And then the s'mores cookie.
S'mores cookie.
That is an elite.
That's a good week.
That's an elite cookie lineup for this week.
If you could only eat one.
Oh, man.
Reese's brownie.
Yeah, the Reese's. I'm going with the Reese's. Thank you, Brent. I'm going with the Reese's.
I'm going s'mores.
Are you?
Yeah.
Over Reese's? You love Reese's.
I
dude.
love Reese's.
How can you say no to that?
I'm going s'mores.
Okay.
I'm going s'mores.
All right.
By the way, they have like a video on the Crumble like Twitter account or X account.
Yeah.
Of like people eating these cookies.
Dude, the people look so happy.
They look so happy.
They must
and
be
the cookies
so
look
happy.
so good.
It's like when I have my piece of chicken and you're like, how do you feel? I'm like, just content.
Problem is, I would want just like one bite of all these cookies because I know if I like
you could do
eat
it
more, it's going to be a problem.
Why don't you buy like a 6-pack, right? You can get like for like $30, but only have one bite of each, and then give the remaining bites to Aaron. Boom.
Okay.
So you both can try it.
And hitting the auction, final one of the day. Hitting the auction here are two elite items at the, what is it? Sotheby's.
Dude.
Listen to these two jerseys that could top the 1 million mark. Both these jerseys.
Okay.
The 2016 LeBron James finals appearance
Warriors
jersey. It's the jersey he wore
Game 7
for the block. And then the jersey worn of Steph Curry when he made his first 3-pointer in the league.
That thing should go for like $600.
I'll take it for $600. In Steph Curry's second NBA game on October 30th, 2009, he hit his first 3-pointer.
Second.
That jersey from that night with which Sotheby has estimated sell for more than $1 million.
Sotheby.
Right. Will almost certainly set an all-time record for Steph Curry memorabilia.
How does Steph not hit a 3 in his first career game?
Oh, actually, I was wrong on the LeBron jersey. I misread it.
It's not Game 7.
It's not. LeBron's jersey from Game 1 of the 2016 NBA Finals is going to go for auction, carrying a pre-sale estimate of $800,000 to $1.2 million. It's the first time one of James's 2016 NBA Finals jerseys has been offered publicly.
By the way, Steph's debut in the NBA.
Yeah, he played against the Houston Rockets.
He's played 36 minutes.
Scored 14 points, and he had no 3-pointers.
And he sucked from 3. He was 0 for 1.
Right, his first bucket was a foul line jumper.
Okay.
I know my GOAT.
He also had 7 assists in that game.
Yeah.
It took him until his second game to hit that 3.
Right, and the last bucket of the game was by Steph Curry. It was a layup, a meaningless layup to give him 14 points.
And they lost by?
I think Corey Maggette was the leading scorer in that game.
What was the final score? And if you don't know anything about
114, 110.
Wrong. All right.
What was
Join
it?
us tomorrow, 108, 107. Join us tomorrow. We're back at 2 p.m. Keep it here for Brent and Jim. I'm John. Keep it here. San Diego Sports 760.
Go Oilers!
And Padres.
Yeah, Padres too.